entire build we're standing on. Although I'm pretty proud of this one too. Like this has shown, just that you can learn Blender, you can get better. But yeah, that build, that one's special. I should throw it back up. Party on the airship.
Party on the airship for old days. Yeah, that was before like safety regulations in the metaverse and everything like that. People could just roll off your airship drunk.
I'll tell you, that was before pink hair. I've got a really nice picture of late night. I think the first time I really ever talked to you, and you were at Genesis Plaza streaming, and it was like late at night, and I'm just like, oh hey, what's up? Or I think probably Fermion was there, getting into trouble. And so I was talking to you, and like you asked me about my castle and then my land, and then you were like, where is it? And I thought you were talking about my castle, so I was like, oh, I don't know the chords. And you laughed at me. You're like, you don't know the chords to your own land. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy thinks I'm such a idiot. I was like, no, I know the chords to my land. I just don't remember the castles up in District X. I don't remember the chords. And then we went there, and I think Zeta was there, and I don't know. I got the picture, like a bunch of people, but we just chilled on the airship, and that was like DCL. I don't know, just like pure, like everybody's exploring, everybody's like learning about the platform. Like it's just like pure, like DCL purity. Like none of the craziness had happened yet. Like I don't know. I mean, just yeah, like super optimistic and yeah, good memories of the airship.
Oh yes, those were the days, the dreamer days. It like Decentraland, at least for us, so early that we were like still like exploring the possibilities, just brainstorming ideas, thinking of the littlest thing, and thinking of it as an advantage or whatever it may be.
Yeah, it just seemed, I feel like you had like 30 people with you, or it was like this, I just was like, whoa, there's this posse following this guy around.
I may or may not have had 30 people following me around.
We must find them.
I know, right? Where are these 30 people? Well, I feel like the 30 people are still around. They've just
Yeah.
like kind of like evolved their metaverse selves. It started off with learning about the platform through like everyone streams, like mine included, and then kind of from there they all branched out, became coders, became builders in the space, became too cool. Nah, just kidding.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, maybe they haven't gone. Maybe they just have they've like morphed into their own, like pun intended, but like with morph, but like they've like evolved. They've leveled up like Pokemon or something. Like they've evolved into the next like Kentucky Derby evolved into Dogman, Fortnite coder. like
Yeah,
uh
exactly. Around those times, those were the times that Kentucky Derby would be around,
yeah.
hanging out with me. We had Mr. J, Mr. W used to hang out too.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I think
I've been
Mr.
to,
W is back ish,
yeah, I've
kind
been
of.
seeing them around. I've been seeing them
Yeah.
around. It's nice to see them around again. They seem excited, to come back in and start building and making their wearables again. So,
Yeah.
little breath of fresh energy there.
So I would love to know what it's like to be like a wearable creator that maybe did a lot during like the busy times, and then you just life it's okay for life to take us other places and we step away, and now they come back, and now you have a hand category, now you have emotes 2.0. Like I don't know, I wonder if anybody's like, oh, like dang, I can do this, like so many different things now, because to compare it, there really are a lot of new, I don't know, like new things that you can do. Like at least in my opinion, the emote 2.0, um, that feels like a big game changer. But maybe it just hasn't been like totally tapped into yet, the way I'm thinking.
Maybe they're the ones to tap into it.
Yeah.
Lol, lol, lol.
Well, I see
Hmm.
people joining us under the ice. I don't know. I can't focus with Fancy in front of me.
Fancy is a pretty sexy bitch.
Just want to know what's no. Never mind. Okay, I'll be professional. I've got people in the audience that want me to be professional. I won't ask what's in the box.
What's in the box?
Well, if they're not in world, they're like, "What is in the box? Is it like 7? Like, I don't know. What's in the box?" Nope.
Oh, that emo is gold. I have to say that. I, I saw Billy doing it for yesterday for the first time, and I was just laughing.
Oh my gosh. See, this is what I mean. Like this emo, we needed this in our life. We needed the yeah. For anybody that doesn't know, it's this. It's a let's just say Saturday Night Live. Justin Timberlake emote with a box.
Why Justin Timberlake? Is it because of what he did to Janet Jackson?
No, he's the one. The original skit. This is a skit from S.
Ah,
It's
okay.
it's called something in a box. All I want for
Hmm.
Christmas.
I'm trying to think if like I have if I obviously don't know it from
No, you don't know this one.
well not from Justin. I
Oh
think I've
my
seen it
god.
somewhere down the line in like pop culture
Okay.
through the years. I don't know.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. I might have to like we're totally segueing. I know there's important stuff we need to God, I can't even Google this, you guys, without Okay, let's send that to you. Oh my
so
gosh, yeah.
so I have very very important news to announce. My sister got Willow a little pink sweater. And
Oh,
now Willow is just 10 times more adorable than she was without the sweater.
oh my gosh. You need to have like Willow needs to have some Mew swag.
Get her a little Mew like sweater.
Yeah, like a little Mew sweater, maybe Mew ears.
Her ears still haven't gone up yet. Cuz like
Oh,
her head or her ears are too big for her still.
why don't we see more pictures of baby Willow?
We need more Willow in our lives.
We do, we do. Oh my gosh, I can check out the bottom of these ice skates really well for with in the my recliner. Refraction did such a good job. People need to go out and buy these ice skates from Refraction. I know the ice skate emote is broken and I've tried to reach out to the creator and it hasn't been fixed. But get your ice skates. These are so cool. There's like a
Welcome, SJ. Welcome, KVN. Hello, Goldilocks. Hankos, how are you? And I see our friend Rustan in the building. We love you, Rustan. What up, unknower? Or should I say the known unknower? Known unknower. So good to see everyone here. Very happy to see you all here. I'm gonna pass it over to my co-host for a quick second while I get coffee.
good idea. I will just segue into. I'm so excited to have put up a poll yesterday from the ambassador program. We had a lot of really good applicants, and we narrowed it down to we interviewed 16 different people from around the world, and the original proposal was to then narrow that down and have the community vote on only 10 ambassadors that would, represent Decentraland around the world. And one idea that we had at the foundation is to actually just accept all 16 rather than put it to a community vote. There were a couple places around the world that have two applicants in the same place, Hankos down there, and others. And so it's actually only 14 locations around the world. It was supposed to be 10, so 14. So the proposal or the poll in the DAO right now is asking the community if they would support having all 16 being accepted into the ambassador program. And I think it's a really good move because it lets us actually be like more diverse with our locations. I'm really excited with, I mean, we've got somebody who is going to represent hopefully like Ghana, West Africa, Malaysia, Singapore, India, Spain, United Kingdom, United States, Uruguay. So, Antarctica and Australia, unfortunately, are not represented. However, next time I'm hopeful that we can get some of the people from the science research lab in Antarctica because they don't have anything else to do during the winter. Maybe we can onboard them. But this first round, it's really exciting just to see that we do have, kind of a wide distribution. And so, yeah, once we, hear from the community whether people would support that, then we'll be able to kind of hit the new year and hit the ground running, hopefully. So please, everybody, if you can, check that proposal. It's not a proposal, it's a poll, but please check that out in the DAO. We do need the community to agree to this change since it is a DAO funded proposal. So please ask any questions if you have it. I'm happy to try to answer them. There's interviews, all 16 applicants. I interviewed each one. I was sick while I did the interviews. I had I think it was probably pneumonia. And some of the interviews I had to get up at, 5 o'clock in the morning because it was one thing I learned, 5 o'clock in the United States is 5 o'clock in India, 5 o'clock a.m. US, 5 o'clock p.m. in India. And so it's super early and I have pneumonia trying to interview people. So my voice, listening to them, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so bad. So just ignore my voice, but please, go to the DAO poll, check out the link in the comments to the interviews, because I think I think for no other reason, not even related to the poll, I think listening to those interviews, for me, I guess now I can talk about it because I've kind of just been selective with how much I will talk about things until they're public. But listening to people, interviewing them from around the world for Decentraland, it really changed my perspective that we aren't thinking big enough. We aren't seeing the bigger picture, what Decentraland on the global scale could do. And so, man, I don't know. I'm so proud of the people that I already, spoke to. And yeah, one takeaway, we need to have a mobile. We need to have access to Decentraland somehow on mobile. So please check out those interviews, get to know our community members a little bit better. I think you'll be, just as impressed as I am. They had to set up interpreters for a lot of it. So I'm just really proud so far of the people that I've gotten to talk to and the passion that comes through. So I don't know. I'm so bullish just after speaking to those 16 ambassadors. So yeah, let me know if anybody has questions. They can come up, feel free to speak. There's some other proposals in the DAO I would love to touch on as well. But we'll see if my co-host has coffee yet.
Oh yes, I have coffee and Willow. I don't know if you're noticing on the DCL screen, but she has been the star of the show this entire time while you were speaking.
Oh no, I can't see the screen because I'm under the ice, for one thing.
You missed her. She's wearing her little pink sweater.
Oh, I think I need to go hit the screen. Or something. Or maybe I need to refresh.
Gotta run away and come back.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so if nobody has questions, about that. I will segue onto another proposal that really has, it's interesting in the DAO. It's a proposal that should there be limitations on how long it takes for grant extensions. Oh, there's Willow. So how long it should take for grant extensions? Like if your grant is hitting a roadblock and you need a pause, like right now you can just pause indefinitely. So there's been some interesting there's an interesting proposal that was actually proposed back in like I think April of 2022 when mana was $2.02 and it was self-voted by somebody with 3.8 million VP, and it's a $60,000 grant, and now they put it on pause and now they want the remainder of their funds. So I would just love to have that conversation.
Where's the wellness?
Oh, the what? The mental health support.
Where's the mental wellness?
That's a different one. That's a different one. I don't know for anybody. We're descending into the madness. Yeah. Yeah. That one too. I would love to see. I would love to see. So yeah. So that brings up a good question. If you're a, you know, a creator, let's say I make Canessa Studios and I have a DAO proposal and for $60,000 and I don't finish a product, should I then be able to go and get a different grant for a different project for $60,000 and get my money for that? Like, I'm so glad we have a revocation committee that can look at these things objectively.
I mean, at times it seems like they get their hands tied, more tied up than like more often than not. Like, it seems like a simple complaint of like, I don't like this person. They're gonna vote bad for me. That like to like, yeah, to like have them replaced already. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
So somebody was asking in World, what are we talking about? So there was a grant for mental health. It was supposed to be a mental health service center in Decentraland. It was a $60,000 grant. I believe it was self-voted as well. So the person who is the recipient of the funds voted on it, got it passed, because at the time they had a large amount of VP. And so they created it, ran into roadblocks, couldn't create it the way they wanted to. And so I'm not going to discuss, you know, the nuances of that. But my question is like for the community, you know, how much do we question things like that? Because nobody's saying anything that there's no end product after $60,000 grant. We can't access it. It's not finished. I don't know if we're ever going to see anything from it. And a lot of times, like with these grants, they just disappear. And unless you're, and I know people do not, like there's a lot of people that don't want to be in the DAO because whatever, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the DAO. But like if you're not sitting there and knowing these grants happened a year and a half ago, then they kind of just disappear. And so what happened this week, I've been asking questions on the Discord thread for this. I've been asking the creator, you know, if there's any intent to return that money to the DAO because, you know, we paid them $60,000 and we have nothing to show for it. There's no product. And I'm just curious if they were going to return that money or if they could get us something, maybe not the full Happy Meal, but maybe like a cheeseburger of it, like a portion of it, especially because mental health or wellness week is wellness month, I should say, is next month. And that's kind of what spurred this is like, hey, we bought a mental health support center for $60,000. Wouldn't it be cool if we had that ready for wellness month? So that's kind of where this started from. And since then, I haven't had any response on there. And then this week, the thread was archived. So then it just means it's gone. And it was a mistake apparently, and it's back, so that's good. We can continue to have dialogue. But I wonder how many times that's happened where projects just kind of fade into the sunset, their threads get archived. We don't have a viable end product, and nobody's, asking these questions. And so, I don't know, to me, I feel like we almost need a like continuity like clause, like or some way that, so if we pay 60,000 for this end product, um and then the person just decides, I'm not gonna support this. I'm just gonna rug it after we've paid for it. Like, there's nothing to stop that. There's no ongoing safeguards in place, and I don't know how you do it. I mean, I don't, other than projects then saying, hey, now I need $10,000 a year to maintain it for you guys. That I don't like that either. That's got like red flags all over it. But I mean, like any other business, we're paying for something. The DAO is paying for an end product. And there's a lot of these projects that just, disappear. And I think that we need to, keep talking and look at them and be like, where are they? Like, continued maintenance, I guess. If we're going to fund something, we need to know that that's going to be there 5 years from now, or, I'll settle for like 2 years from now, like some kind of agreement, like legally binding contract that the user's going to maintain it. Otherwise, it's just really making it easy for projects to not maintain stuff.
Yeah, I mean, with that, I just hear more questions of like whenever someone comes in with a fresh proposal, like, are you gonna be back here next year asking for another $100,000 to maintain your proposal? Um,
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's the other way to do it, is like you either drift off into the sunset and nobody hears from you again, or you go back and try to get a different grant for a different amount of money, or you come back and you ask for like, hey, now I need 30,000 a year to maintain this, and it just seems like neither are good options. However, if it takes money to maintain something, then like you don't buy a car thinking, oh, I'm never going to pay for, the oil change. So like you do need to pay for something to be continued, especially when it comes to like SDK 7. Like that's a big maintenance issue. That's like blowing the head gasket in your engine, and now you got to like replace the engine block. It's a big deal.
Yep, yep. I mean, in terms of like the first half of like the question, which was kind of like how long of a time period should we have to allow these projects or kind of to be paused? I kind of think I feel like the answer to that one is it depends. Like a project that comes to mind when I think of like it having to be paused because of stuff that wasn't ready is Angzar Plaza. They couldn't get right to work as soon as the proposal passed because the some complications with the land or the plaza they were supposed to take over, and it took a little bit for them to take over.
Yeah, and I mean, in full transparency, we've had to do that with the ambassador program because the process of interviewing people in like scheduling times and getting interpreters, it just took longer than we anticipated. So to make sure that like, that we're in the guidelines of what the grant is stipulating that we do, we asked, they recommended like, all right, let's just pause it, and it's good. I mean, I think like this is my first grant also with Decentraland too. Like, I'm learning so much about the process that you should give yourself more time than you think you need. I think, like, don't ask for 6 months, ask for 10 months, or don't ask for 10 months, ask for 12 months. Like, I think that first 2 months of like figuring out all the different places that like you need to, meet with your person, then do the DAO update in the DAO forum, and then do the DAO update in the DAO Discord. And if you need to make a video for the DAO town hall and you don't have videography skills, good luck. That's hard, because I could see like venue owners all of a sudden having to be like videographers. So there's a lot. Like, now I think I got my schedule, I got my system. I think I've got a better idea of like how to move forward, but it was a learning curve. And I mean, at least with Decentraland, like the good thing about every time we fail, like we're learning something. We're like, okay, all right, we're gonna put this in the documentation. Don't do it like this. Do it like this. So that, I guess that's a positive. But I mean, I definitely think the pause should be there, but I think it can't just run out indefinitely because well, I mean, just the price of mana. Like, what if mana's $5 all of a sudden, and you wrote this grant, and mana's 30 cents? Like, yeah, like it needs to be. I mean, it needs to be just looked at on a case by case basis. But we need some kind of protocol so that we all have a clear expectation that these things can't drag out forever. I saw
Yeah, you're
Joe
right.
come up, and then sorry, Sinful, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, before we passed it over to Cowboy, since he has his hand up, I wanted to kind of just briefly mention how proud I am of like this list of representing countries from applicants in the most recent proposal that you put in. That is like a very wide and diverse list of locations that we have like or that you have put together through the applicants. I'm very happy that so many of our community members from around the world were receptive to this and like ready to help in any way.
Yeah, I mean, within that list, like it's I one thing that's eye opening, and I want to shout out Meta Ryuk, helped kind of just bring to light the crypto laws in different countries around the world. Really, we should be looking at that as well, like crypto adoption per user, crypto laws. Um, yeah, I mean, we live in the United States. It's one of the most stringent and least adopted. Like I really, yeah, Meta Ryuk, that guy's he's got some good knowledge in his head.
I
Pick his
I
brain when you
see
can. Like,
I see two Japan representatives. I hope one of them is Kenji.
yeah, I mean, now I had to be careful and choose my words and not like shout at everybody. But yeah, Kenji and Hankos from Japan, I am so excited for that team. Let's see, Pablo Novato from Spain, and everything is public now. The applicants down in the interview section. So yeah, I mean, we've got some powerhouses, and yeah, I could go off on a tangent. The other thing that we've got is a really diverse group of people coming from their backgrounds that like some of them are hardcore coders. Some of them are, people in the community that know other people. Some people are, wearable creators. Like it's not all the same kind of person, which I think is what we need because it's going to be different approaches. You're going to see there's two different applicants from India and they're very different and very very different parts of the country too. So, when you try the same thing with different, different components, different dynamics, you're going to get different results. So it'll be interesting to see like, okay, like these people are going to go focus at a university more. These people are going to go, try to hit up like, hackathons and yeah, I can't be bullish enough. I'm excited for our Washington D.C. applicant because that's where we need people is in D.C. Like we need crypto friends in Washington D.C. Like you want to hit the heart of United States crypto. Send our person to D.C. I'm so bullish.
Are you trying to turn him into a lobbyist?
I don't think I have to do a dang thing. I think this person is a lobbyist built in. I mean, it's public now, so it's
Love
cheddar
it.
queso, cheddar queso. Oh my gosh, I want to buy cheddar coin. I'm so bullish on cheddar.
Me too. Cowboy Tom, good morning, or no, you're in the East Coast with me. Good afternoon, my brother. How are you?
Hey, blessings, bro. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. Happy holidays to everyone. I heard you talking about the grants, so I was curious because NFT LA is coming up, NFT NYC is coming up. I think if we're gonna be the spot to go for music and events, we should have have something going on at these events. Have a something at least sponsoring or something, you know what I'm saying? So, going back to how you were talking about grants, like, is it worth putting up a grant for NFT week or something? Like, do you think people want that, or is it just a waste of time?
I mean, I think, you could probably ask the people in the room, like they could, do a show of hands, or, what somebody did recently is put up a poll before you put up a proposal, like gauge the community's interest. Like, are they interested in that? I mean, I don't know how that could be a bad thing. I think just depending on how it's done, I think the community wants to see, Decentraland focused events, like make sure that it's going to be enough bang for our buck. The ambassador program, that's what that's going to be. Now, whether it's going to be, big enough to have, like, I don't think that we're going to have anybody at NFT NYC. There's somebody in Los Angeles, so NFT LA possibly. But those kind of things will be determined after, if the applicants are chosen for the program. Yeah, I guess if anybody from the community has opinions one way or another, it'd be good to hear them.
Well, I see Bio in the crowd. Like, Bio would definitely be involved if we did something for NFT NYC. And I'm already like planning something. There's actually a sub event called NFT LES. Because Lower East Side, if you're familiar with Manhattan, Lower East Side is the nightlife area of Manhattan. So I'm actually like trying to help those guys out, put something together. But I think, personally, Decentraland should definitely should be there, what I'm saying, in some capacity. Maybe we throw a party. I mean, last year we didn't have like a bunch of Decentraland people come out. I met High CC, I met CK, I met a bunch of people, Bio. So they do show up, what I'm saying? But it was like, the event we had was like at Def the Tennis, which is like a small little storefront. It's not really like a bar or a club or anything, or any place where you can really invite people out. So I've been talking to a lot of the Web3 artists already. Like, some of them have performed in Decentraland, but we are putting together a 2-day concert for like 15 artists. And I would love for Decentraland to be involved. I was just personally, I don't feel people want that. Like, because I have ran it past a few people and they're just like, nah, nah, nah. Like, they're just not interested in real life events. So I don't know if it's even like worth my time even trying to put up a grant.
Hmm. I mean, I think for something like that to be passed, it would have to be, I mean, in the proposal, it would have to be a very compelling argument. Probably even probably would help your case if you had like all the information already laid out. Like, this is the venue I'm planning to get. This is the people that are going to be working on this. And yeah, like make it as detailed as possible. I know that you're out there in New York, so you probably have like a better idea of like how rent might be for an event like this, and how the marketing route would be or would go in respects to like hosting something in New York. Hmm.
I mean, I can tell you this:
My
I already
question.
got the venue. I bought a bar, so what I'm planning is already gonna happen at Cowboy Tom's Bar, which is what it's gonna be called when I rebrand. So I have the venue. Like, we don't have to pay for a venue. It would actually be a very small grant, maybe 10 grand or something, just to kind of cover the overhaul expenses. So Decentraland is like the sponsor. You know what I'm saying? But it wouldn't be like any like serious type of money. It's just a 2-day event. But I don't know if, like I said, I spoke to a few people and they just didn't, maybe because they don't come out to events. Maybe that's why they're not interested. But I definitely think if we're going to be music and events and we're going to be trying to onboard Web3 artists, well, guess what? These Web3 artists perform at a lot of these events, especially like Art Basel. So we have to have, if we want to attract these artists into Decentraland like we've been doing, we have to have a presence there too. You know what I mean? Just like what you guys are doing with Beast right now with the wearables. Beast threw one of the biggest parties last year. Like, what I'm saying? We should have been right along with them, throwing one of the biggest parties too. It just makes sense just for what we've been doing. So that's kind of like what I want to see from my standpoint from Decentraland, is that we show up to the in real life events too. You know what I'm saying? Which I think would be, even like I see you guys are doing stuff with Beast. I mean, talk to Beast and be like, hey, let's co-sponsor a party or something. Let's do Beast York, sponsored by Decentraland or whatever. They had other sponsors when they did Beast York. So that's, I just want to see some cool shit happen. You know what I'm saying? I think that just would get a lot of eyes because NYC, everyone comes out, and you can really get fresh eyes on Decentraland if Decentraland was sponsoring some events, or if Decentraland had a booth at the convention where people can, play the game and kind of just see what it's like, shit like that. Like I would love to see from the project.
I think you're right. I think that, I can only speak for myself, and what I've seen is that the ambassador program is the first step of many in that direction. I think, there's 20 different ways to do it. We could have just done one event first, or we could try to do it all around the world. I think I personally like that we're programs, worldwide. Now, that kind of event, I would say, like, now, speaking as like a voter in the DAO, what I would look for is not just like what grinds my gears is like a big fancy party with like the Decentraland logo stuck on a banner, or like a sign at the table that said this lunch sponsored by Decentraland. No, that's not going to do it. It needs to be more than just a passive, like I call that passive marketing. Like, I don't know if it has a real name, but like it's very passive. Nobody gives a shit. Like, if you put out a sign with free donuts, I'm just going to go eat the free donuts. Like, I mean, I might look at what the brand is, and if there's a t-shirt, I'll probably take one and then, maybe look it up at home. But it needs to be more intentional. I think it needs to be something that, like, in my perfect world, you'd have computers set up, you'd have people log in, and they can't get the NFT until they log in with an account. Maybe they create their wallet, maybe not. Well, okay, never mind. They can't do that there, but like they log in, they get a code, and that code is redeemable in Decentraland next week when they get home. And then they're on their safe computer, and then they have their MetaMask set up, and then they've got a place to write down their seed phrase carefully, but they got to come back. And then maybe it's a 4-part NFT where you get the first one the first week, and then you come back the second week for the next part, the third week, the fourth week, so that it creates a habit, so that logging in doesn't just like you do it once and you don't come back. You might not, you forget how. There's got to be a little more teeth to it than putting up signs, putting up things like that. So that would be my only concern as a voter, that I would have to see that an event is actually going to do more than just, hey, it was sponsored by, because really, like, those, the big events, there's a lot of people that just enjoy, like, they're hungry, they just need a place to eat. So I would not support something if it's just, branding, rebranding, sponsored by. Like, it's got to be more than that, but I can only speak for myself. So I think finding those dynamic ways to make it more, like, get them back, get like, yeah, you're hosting a grand opening at Cowboy Tom's IRL. Well, next week it's going to be the grand opening in the metaverse. Like, I guess I would ask you that, Cowboy Tom, if you're opening a real store, are you going to do that in, like, are you going to open a bar in Decentraland?
I'm definitely probably going to partner with someone who already has like a spot, like Bio or somebody like that. But I definitely plan to stream most of my bar nights, especially the weekends when we have a DJ in Decentraland, and also the 2-day event for NFT LES. We're going to stream that across all metaverses. I was already talking to Bio about that. He's the go-to for that. So that's kind of like the plan now. And then, like, free food, we have about 15 Web3 artists, Casually, Melody, Burger, like all the legends are going to come out. I'm going to pay for them to come out. So, like, at this moment, I'm funding everything myself. You know what I'm saying? Just putting up all the money myself to, create this Web3 physical space that everyone can come to. But I would love for Decentraland somehow to be a part of it, like you said, with computers, onboarding people. I think definitely at the convention that's much better. Like, you have people, you have a booth there, someone from Decentraland, one of the homies can, man that booth, or a few people, and help people log on. And like you just said, was awesome. A redeemable code when they go home, blah blah blah. So I think, we have some substance here, but does the community want it? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see many grants for in real life stuff come up. And that just makes me think like nobody really wants that?
I think it goes back to being fair about it. If it's like a 30K grant of like trying to have a IRL event, give me 30K. I think that one might be like a little harder to pass. But if it's like something fair and concise and specific, to help fund it, then I
It'd be like
mean
10
there
grand.
might be a little more support. Yeah.
It'd be if not like, let's say if we didn't have like a booth at the convention, it would be about 10 grand. If we wanted to like have a couple ambassadors or reps at the convention, the whole setup, then yeah, it would probably be double that, probably 20, 30 grand, depending on what NYC would want to charge you for that booth. But if we just did an event, you know what I'm saying? Like, because last year we did do an event. It was Def to Tennis, Decentraland. They did stream it into Decentraland, but Def to Tennis is like a 8 by 10 foot store. Like, everyone was outside. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a venue. You know what I'm saying? So since now we have a venue, I'm not trying to, I'm not charging Decentraland to use my bar. I'm actually doing this because, this is my plan. This was always my plan to make a Web3 physical space. But it would be nice if Decentraland was involved and, someone could help me do a grant for like 10 grand, which I think would more than enough cover anything that we would want to set up. Like Kanessa just said, like I have the room to set up a couple computers in the bar, and it's actually a coffee shop in the front and a speakeasy bar in the back, so you can have onboarding in the coffee shop and events going on in the back. So um that's something definitely I think I would need help with. Like, I'm not good at writing grants, that's definitely number one, but I'm definitely a visionary and an executioner. Like, I put my own money up all the time and just do it. So if Decentraland got behind me, we can definitely do something very special.
One thing I would ask is how many people came in because of the Death to Tennis event last year and stayed? Like, how many people are here from that event? Having like hard numbers is also going to help get the community support. Like, if you know that Death to Tennis event brought in like 20 new users or 30 new users or 50 that are still coming to Decentraland, like that
I
have
don't think
logged in.
I don't think really that happened. I mean, I know a couple of my own friends come every once in a while, but the thing is, Def to Tennis is not a venue. It's tiny, so everyone's standing outside drinking and smoking and just kind of talking. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of Decentraland people came out. Hi, CC, I saw there. She flew 12 hours to be there. So I mean, there's definitely some people who did come out and travel from afar, which is great to see. But it's not a place. Def to Tennis was not set up to onboard anybody. Yes, we had a lot of people walk by because it's on a busy street and are very curious. I even shot a video of me trying to onboard like an 80-year-old lady. I think I posted during NFT week. That was so curious about what was going on, but it wasn't the proper place to do it. Now we actually will have the proper place to do it, where it's set up for events. You can have 200 people in the bar. You know what I'm saying? And it's way better. Def to Tennis holds like 5 people. Everyone's just
It's
standing
like a
outside.
boutique, right?
Yeah, it's eight
Like
by ten
a
foot storefront, dude. And
yeah.
he doesn't even have it anymore. He doesn't. He actually moved out of there. He wasn't making money. So, and that's what made me get a bar, because I'm like, at first I was just looking for an empty space. You know what I'm saying? But then I was like, you know what? You got to have sustainability. And I was like, let me buy a bar, because now I have a space and I can sell liquor, and oh, now we can do events. Oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of all came together. But I got the idea from Def to Tennis. I got the idea from seeing other Web3 physical spaces, but they all go out of business because there's no sustainability model. There's no membership. There's no, you're not really selling anything to the public. And see, with a bar, people are gonna walk in. Like, I'm gonna put NFT art all on the walls. You know what I'm saying? So it's still open to the public. You know what I'm saying? So I can onboard people that way too. Like, just people who come in regularly and just are curious what's on the walls. And so that's kind of like my idea with it. But I would love to like get the Decentraland family behind it, so that we can grow, like we can really send this shit. Because NFT week, one thing I noticed, everyone comes. I met every large, like every popular profile, thread guy, all these people came out. Like, every person you can think of that comes across your timeline was there. You know what I'm saying? And so we definitely need a presence at Art Basel or NFT Week. We're doing music and events. It just makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
I think you got to really define what you're trying to do, because you said onboarding, but then you also just said like people, DCL people came from a long way to be there. I think there's a big difference, and I think like right now, I mean, the DAO, every time that the DAO pays a grant recipient, they have to sell mana, and that puts downward sell pressure on the price of mana. So in order to pay people, we hurt our own coin, and that makes the people, a lot of us that are voting in the DAO, really protective that like, I don't want to ruin our own coin for anything that's not really going to bring value like right back to the core. And so just hearing that like it's a really loose disconnect between onboarding people, and then I see builders down in the audience that can't even get funded to take a giant project and convert it into SDK 7 to keep up with the platform. And it's kind of like, choosing like, okay, like my family doesn't have money this month for food. Do I buy the organic lettuce or do I buy the regular lettuce or whatever? Like, you got to make choices to keep, like, we have to keep main Decentraland. We got to keep that functioning. And so I think that like the further away we get from that, the harder it is to support. So yes, I like the idea of an event, but man, you got to have it can't just like, of course people want to come by and look at the art and grab some beers and drink, but that has to translate into new users, or it's just not time. Like at some point, and this is just my opinion, but I am very strongly opinionated, because like there was a really good chart about the price of mana, what happened to our DAO when mana dropped all the way down to like 28 cents. It got scary. And I know some people are like, oh, I don't do DAO stuff. Well, then if you don't do DAO stuff, do you understand like the real health or unhealth of our DAO? And so I don't know. People might hate me, but I'm voting no on a lot more, because we need to focus on real things that will bring people in. So Cowboy Tom, like, put up your proposal. It's not hard to write. It's just, get your idea, but man, you got to have your I's dotted and your T's crossed if you want community support to actually bring in people onboarding. And there are some ways to do it that I think would really help there. Yeah, RFID chips that are convertible to an NFT that shows you were there physically, and then 2 weeks later when you log in, you can go get your digital NFT. I would explore that route so that you can come to the community and be like, this is how I'm going to bring people in. It's not going to be a one-time event. This bar is going to change the face of the ecosystem. Because anything other than that, it's I don't know. Like, just personally, I can't support like something that doesn't just really retain people. When I see builders in the crowd that can't even keep the projects that are already here, running without asking for money, that doesn't get voted through. So just my 2 cents.
I appreciate that, Vanessa, and I totally respect. And I think that you kind of made me figure out a decision. And my decision is I'm just gonna do it myself this year, prove myself, and then next year, if I, maybe I'll throw up a grant and say, be involved with me. This is what I did last year. So I'll prove myself first, you know what I'm saying? Put up my own money like I always do and just make it happen. I think that what kind of separates me from other grant proposals probably is that I'm willing to put up money. I put up 300 grand for this bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can prove that, so if I go and I ask for a grant for 10 grand, I already put up 300 grand. But I'll prove myself first, make it successful this year, and then we'll see what happens next year. How's that sound?
Hey, there are things that you can do that people haven't even tapped in yet. There are screens that show 3D. It's this really weird thing that you can't understand unless you actually see it in person. But it's a 3D screen, so it would be like looking at our avatars. You put one of those on your wall with a workstation, and you have a weekly event at your bar, and simultaneously you have a weekly event in Decentraland where you pay people in Decentraland $50 to talk to your customers, and you could say, hey, I got the first metaphysical digital bar, and I got the meta IPA on tap. The first, get Wisher vodka in there. Put they're the
Oh
first
yeah, she's in there.
vodka. Okay, so like, I mean, yeah, I think you have to. I think like everybody else is doing it on their own. Like, I think the projects that get support are the ones that have like hustled on their own, then come to the DAO with a viable MVP, minimally viable product, and those are the ones I think that have
I
the
do
most
think
support.
there's merit in just applying for, like, put up your grant idea as you have it. Just accept that, like, understand you're going to get shit on. People are going to look at a thing you poured your heart into and tell you that it's not good enough and that you're a cash grabbing piece of shit. But, like, just do it, get the feedback ahead of time, then, like, go prove yourself. And then you kind of have the combination of, okay, I've proved myself. I already know what they're going to do to, like, shit on my dreams. And then you can incorporate that feedback into, because, like, almost every grant gets torn to pieces the first time anyway. So I feel like there's like a combo path. Just accept failure. You're going to get told no, but then get that feedback as soon as possible. And like, don't take it personal, which is the part I can't help you with because I take it so
No, I appreciate it, man. None of this is negative to me. This is all like very positive. That's why I came up and I just wanted to, because you're all my homies. We family. You know what I'm saying? I met a lot of you guys in person already. So like, I consider everyone mostly family. Like, so that's why I just wanted to, like, before I did anything, was just like see how the community feels about it. Because so far I've been shot down. Like so far, people are like, nah, bro, I don't think that's a great idea. But Scott, go ahead, bro. My bad.
It's all good. Can you hear me okay? All right.
so crisp and
Hello,
so clear.
Scott.
Hey, what's up, guys? So got a couple things really quick, rapid fire for you, Cowboy Tom. First thing is Lion's Milk Cafe. When I was in New York this past summer, we stopped by there. Shout out to Blease, and I don't know if Colorful is in here, but they have a connection with him. I think CK also has an NFT for Lion's Milk. But it's owned by somebody who's got a Bored Ape, and it's, I think, one of the first Web3 cafes. So if you're just looking for ways to move into the space, both in the physical and in the Web3 space, that would be a great person to talk to. I can't remember the guy's name, but hung out with him in the park one afternoon. He's a really down to earth guy. Second thing is talk to innkeeper.eth. He's got weekly now a physical bar where he broadcasts in Decentraland, and then has people in Decentraland. So there's that sort of cross reality synergy. Go ahead, Cowboy.
Yeah, is that Bored Coffee you're talking about?
No, it's Lion's Milk.
Okay,
I'm
because there's a
fairly
Bored
certain that's.
Coffee. There's if you heard of them, that's Bored. That's a guy who owns an ape and a coffee brand,
I mean, that's a
and he's
coffee
from New
brand.
York
This is
too.
a cafe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's a physical location. Yeah.
I gotta go check it out. What's the, what the cross streets are?
I couldn't tell you, man. I just like getting an Uber and we're going here, and then we show up there, and I'm like, okay, cool.
I'll Google it. I'll Google it definitely. But that's, I've seen a lot of Web3 spaces. Have you ever heard of Empire? Empire was insane. The guy put up $1 million of his own money to rent the whole building for a year. Solana was one of his subtenants. Like a whole bunch of blockchains were his tenants, but there was no model to make money. So I saw him lose $1 million in 1 year. When the rent came up for the next year, he couldn't afford it. The place was open for literally 1 year, and what people did over there was just go and smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen a lot of Web3 spaces that
Oh yeah,
try.
there's a million and one ways
Yeah.
to blow a bunch of cash. I mean, I've worked for some of those companies that have a enormous burn rate, but Joe Ador, I think, you've had your hand up even before I got up here, and your hand's back up. So I'm gonna shut up.
Hi, Sin, Canessa, Scott, Chad, Cowboy. It's been great hearing about so much right now. But before I get to what Canessa was talking about before, Cowboy, you mentioned having artists that are gonna like display their art on the wall. Has the process for that already begun? Because I'd like to be a part of that. I'm in Nigeria right now, but yeah, I draw like digital art stuff, so I'd like to be a part of that. I think it's a really great idea. And also, Canessa, It was really nice learning about the ambassador program. I didn't know that was happening. I'm just looking at the folder now, and I see Cheddar and a couple of other people that have just been, getting to know in the community. So I'm super excited. I see there's one person from West Africa, Ghana. I don't know who it is yet, but I'd like to meet them, and help them along the way. I'm in Nigeria, so we're like not too far away neighbors. So it's just great to see how much like Decentraland, in as much as there's still a couple of tweaks and ticks, things to fix up, but
Did I rug?
Yeah,
No, I
did we
think
lose her?
Joe, I think we might have lost you. You kind of cut out.
Yeah, I can't hear her
But
either.
Joe, if you can hear this, a friend of mine from Nigeria that I met in Decentraland a month ago came and visited me in New York City. So that was pretty cool. He actually flew all the way from Nigeria just to see me. We hung out. We had a great time. We went for a bro spa date. We went to the strip club. We did all the cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? Showed him a great time around the city. Stayed for 5 days, and now he's back home in Nigeria.
Hey, cowboy. I looked up the Lion Smoke Cafe. It looks like it's on Roebling Street in the cross section of Roebling Street and North Sixth Street.
Is that like Brooklyn?
Let's see. Little zoom out. Yes, it could be. I see a woke vintage Brooklyn nearby.
Yeah.
Uh,
What? How do you spell it? Like lions, just like how it sounds.
Lion's Milk.
Roar, lion. Yeah, milk.
And just to confirm with Odd Job, is it like a Turkish cafe?
Yeah. I didn't want to give
Oh yeah, it's
too much
Brooklyn.
information about the owner, but yeah, he's from Turkey. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that's what it says at least here on Google. It says that counter serve cafe for Turkish pastries.
See, Scott, the only thing is that there is a fine balance of Web3 and Web2. So since we are a bar open to the public, you don't want to just shove it in your, like regular people's faces. You kind of like, so the way I'm actually going to frame the NFT art is like almost like physical art. I'm going to print it out and frame it like like physical art. So it just kind of jogs your curiosity. You know what I'm saying? So there'll be like little hints around the bar to jog your curiosity, but you don't want it like straight in your face trying to like onboard everyone who walks through the door. Like that's gonna send people away because
No, straight up. I mean, that's
yeah.
exactly what you got with Lion's Milk. It's not printed. It's digital frames that can get swapped out, and it's not, hey, do this thing or anything like that. It's definitely low key. Like, it's one of those things. Like if you see a dead drop sticking out of a brick, right? So like a USB port. Only certain people are going to know what to do with that, and it's the people that are in the know. So that's kind of how they approach it. But yeah, that's why I'm encouraging you to talk to him, because he's had the cafe. It's been open for a couple of years now. So any ideas that you have or any thoughts or whatever, just talking to another small business owner, I think would be a good way to go. And real quick, just the last thing I wanted to say to you is when we had our meetup in Miami, we originally were attempting to work with Wisher and with Foundation, and there were numbers that were going back and forth, and not to talk too much inside baseball or give away private conversations, but it turned out later that it was so much easier to have it be, I kind of call it like an event or a guerrilla event, where we could have gone to this bar where, I don't know, about 100 of us ended up showing up. We could have rented the space out and paid a lot of money and whatever, but we just said, hey, we're going to meet here, and then 100 people showed up, and we just all ordered our own drinks there, and we pretty much just took over a corner of this bar in Miami, pretty close to the convention area, and that was our event. It wasn't sponsored, but like everybody who needed to know knew, and everybody showed up. We did something similar It was more heavily subsidized and sponsored by Wisher Vodka when we met in Chicago to just talk about trying to have a series of events around the globe. We recorded it. I mean, the information is up on the web somewhere. But yeah, I mean, it's. I just wanted to encourage you, Cowboy Tom, and just because there aren't proposals that are out there, I think that's probably not the best metric to gauge audience interest or personal interest in it. And I think Canessa has really covered why that might be, that there are other forces that ebb and flow and affect what proposals come forward and when and you know, for how much. I think it's definitely of interest. I think that especially post-COVID, people love being together, right? Even introverts, you know, can do it through the safety of their avatar. I mean, that's part of the human condition, is that we want to be with one another. So if you have an opportunity, if you're creating an event for people to get together, to just be with one another, I can't encourage you enough.
Well, and I'll just step in because Joe brought up some good points, and then she rugged, and then she went down, and she's back up. So I just want to go back and address what Joe said. Thank you. I'm excited for the ambassador program too. Babolex is the person who is based both in Los Angeles and Ghana, West Africa, and so they are the person to connect with. I am personally excited because at first I did not think we had somebody representing Africa, because they're both in LA and Ghana, and then they were like, yeah, I'm in both places, like I this is gonna work. And so I'm stoked because I'm glad that we have somebody representing there. I think also, just to, you know, with talking about real life events, the ambassador program, this is the first round, like this is the pilot round. This is like, I can't even tell you how much we've learned, but this is, if it's successful, we are going to continue this and have more. And then we're going to have learned a lot about how to host events worldwide. So, you know, maybe next year there will be a presence at NFT LA and NFT NYC, like because of the seeds that we plant today, and figure out like, how do we manage 16 people from around the world? How do we, you know, get payment in crypto to the customer, the client, the swag? Like, I mean, do you guys know how much it costs to ship physical items across the world? Like it is, we're paying more for shipping than the items in a lot of times. So it's like finding out ways to bypass that. Like I don't know, like maybe the ambassador program is laying the tracks right now, and then later it's just going to be really easy for, you know, Decentraland, or individuals to find ways to host these events. So I think, you know, as time goes on, that is the intent, that if this program is successful, there will be, you know, future rounds, and hopefully it'll just be something regular that you guys will, you know, see in your corner of the world. I don't think they're coming to the forests of Washington where I live, so I don't know. It's I wish it was everywhere, but I am really glad with how diversified it is right now. So thank you, Joe, and you came back up, and you got your hand up. You've got the floor.
Thank you for kicking us there. Sorry I rocked, guys. And yeah, thank you for exploring all that. And I'm looking forward to the candidates and the proposal going through. I don't recall the name, but I'll message you about that, the representative for both that's the US and Ghana. But also that aside, you know, you had also mentioned that you had put out your concerns about the previous project on wellness. You know, I participated in Wellness Week. So, you know, your previous concerns about the project or about the centers that's supposed to be in Decentraland, and that you were trying to, like, you know, see if, you know, if it's still going to happen, and you were trying to, like, rally up maybe a way to, like, you know, some accountability, some steps towards accountability, basically. And I was wondering why it's so different, because, you know, for us participating in, like, the Wellness Week, we don't get any funds at all until we have our installations up and we have hosted an event. So I'm surprised that proposals are just, like, paid for a full front, like upfront. Like, I thought at least you sort of, like, you know, do, like, show some traction or show where you're headed, before, or maybe it's paid instrumentally. I'm surprised that you just pay upfront, full upfront for that.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty different. You and everybody that was chosen for Wellness Week, you are funded right from the foundation. This is a grant that was asked for and community voted through the DAO. So those are just, I think if anybody is kind of new to the ecosystem, those are two absolutely different, very different things. We wish they were maybe a little bit closer aligned, but very different. So this is a grant that the person asked for. They had to write up a proposal. Anybody can do that. If like for instance, if you create something for Wellness Week, you feel some traction, you have a really, you're feeling like you want to continue, you could write a grant, you could, continue to fund that. It's the grant process in the DAO is open for anybody to come in, and there's different ways to have your project funded. So I would strongly suggest looking into that. And then there are guidelines around the grant process. So you have to meet with your, the person that's been appointed to your proposal. You have to make monthly deadlines. So, beyond that, there are other safeguards. There's a revocation committee. If you're not, doing what you lined out in the roadmap of your grant, they can pause that. So I apologize if I made it seem like it was the same as the Wellness Month. That grant was proposed, I think, a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. And then, it's out of our hands if it's fully funded with no viable end product, but very different than Wellness Month, I should say. Does that answer some of your questions?
Yeah, I was more like just wondering like if there's a form. I know the funds are coming from like foundation. I'm just wondering like it's the same thing. I'm just asking the same questions. You're saying like why are there no like ways for accountability, especially I don't know. I'm just curious, literally, because the previous build that was supposed to happen involved wellness, and I would have been excited to see the finished project as well. The one you were requesting for some feedback that you did not receive, so I would have been really interested in seeing that as well. I'm not even looking to make a proposal yet. I haven't gotten to that level yet. I'm just excited about Wellness Week for now, and just trying to get to know more of the community and how it works. Yeah.
Yep. And just for clarifications, the DAO funds do not come from the foundation. The foundation has their own vesting contract, which they get paid out off of. And so the DAO is just like a different vesting contract where, these funds are pulled out to fund grants.
Okay, so the foundation has nothing, like, does not involve itself with the DAO grants, and then the DAO grants has nothing to do with foundation grants at all. Like, they're both separate. Nobody crosses territory. There are boundaries in between. Got it.
Yeah. The foundation vesting contract seems to be more or less just to pay their employees, their 9 to 5, Monday through Friday employees. The DAO stuff is just extra, I guess we can call it.
Well, and I will say, I believe the ambassador program is the first time that it is funded both by the DAO and the foundation. The foundation put up half of the money, wrote a proposal, got community support for the other half, and so it has to run on the terms of both like the foundation as well as the DAO. So we have to follow the proposal that we created in the DAO, and then we also have to try to move at the speed that the foundation works at. So I there's a lot of good questions coming up, and it's really confusing, and I don't know. It takes a long time, and I still don't understand it completely myself. But please, Joe, if you're asking a question, you might not be the only person in the room that has this question. So we'll do our best, our level best, to answer them.
Thank you, Knesser. Cowboy, I don't know, he rocked, or is he coming back up? He had his hand up for a really long time. I see him in the audience though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't see him up here, so he can request to come back up. I think Scott, did I see you have your hand up? All right, Scott might be getting his coffee. Rallo, how are you? Good
What's up,
morning.
Ness? How are you? How is everybody? Happy holidays. This is my favorite time of the year where I just get to disconnect from my job and just enjoy the family. So I hope everybody does that just the same, as important as everything we're doing here. And special shout out to everybody I see in the audience. Bio, my man. Question for you, Ness. How does a metaverse platform like Decentraland envision the role of not only world builders and community, but a role that I believe plays as significant of a role, and that is the media broadcasting to which we're involved in, and that role in enhancing user engagement and community growth. And do you think, from your perspective, that a partnership with a broadcast company aligned with the support of strategic, say, objectives, right, and user experience goals, how, what essentially for you, I'm trying to word this correctly here. So what essentially like, say, for Decentraland, would it take to see that value? Is there value? And how is it that moving forward with the other projects that you are funding, using that media arm to promote those projects to which you just invested in, maybe, a couple of months prior? So it's almost like essentially a Garden of Eden for everybody here. And it's once we promote our projects and our communities inside, doing what we're all kind of doing, in a box, but by using that broadcast to not only promote that community, but the ongoing support of that community, and the strengthening of that platform through broadcasting. Does that make sense to you?
Now, are we Garden of Eden before Eve, like before Eve fed Adam the apple, or after? Because I think our garden at times has a little bit of fire and flames, just around the
Yeah,
trees.
no doubt. But do you see, like, the media piece to a metaverse platform? What's your take on it? Like, what is it that you think about it? I would just love to hear your thoughts.
Well, I would ask, what are we broadcasting? Like, what's the content?
Oh, sure. So real easy. We're a music discovery channel for the digital age of music. We're partners with Vita TV. We are their music channel on their Meta box, and essentially our mission is basically to offer a music discovery channel for fans around the world, and basically just foster opportunities to extend live stream events in IRL as well, as well as virtual concert experiences to, deepen that relationship that artists have with their fans have with artists, or maybe even users have with that platform to which the event is taking place. So truly, the only thing that's interoperable in my eyes is broadcasting, because you could take a single feed and broadcast that out across 7, 8, 9 metaverses. And by strengthening and by broadcasting from inside of that platform, that experience, and then having those links to dive into that media experience, that broadcast experience, that concert experience, is essentially what we're doing.
Yeah, awesome. I think it's good. I think there's been, let's see, Altcoin Radio. They used to do something, similar, like broadcast stuff out. So I think that, I think streamers, it's good to get the content that's in Decentraland out. Definitely. Is that your question?
So
or
my
I'll
next
ask-
question goes to this, right? Because we have the IP for Music District, the intellectual property we're trademarked as it relates to broadcasting music inside of virtual platforms. So at some point, right, like, I'm trying to think, like, you would have like certain, almost like a radio station, right, for inside of Decentraland. Has that ever been considered?
Yeah, I think it's been done. I think Altcoin Radio, didn't they have their own podcast?
I did not. I'm not familiar with Altcoin Radio, but that's awesome. I'm going to check them out for sure.
There's also Last Slice that has worked with, collaborated with Audius and using the portable experience coding feature for SDK, well, native to SDK 7, but in essence, being able to have music streamed to wherever you are in Decentraland, whereas before it was specific to each estate or parcel. So there's that. But in terms of the value of video, I mean, I would say it's pretty, I don't want to say obvious, but it's definitely it is definitely valued by a number of entities that are that have been in Decentraland, that are still in Decentraland. Just look at every major virtual nightclub. They have even the program that I'm involved with, the ABC Tours. We meet with people in Decentraland, but we also Billy runs the stream to Twitch and to Kick, and there you've got an entire platform of streaming videos where people are playing in 3D spaces, and the 2D content from a virtual 3D space is being streamed out so that it is accessible by more people. I mean, I think just look at the numbers of the growth of Kick, since it started, I don't know, about a year ago. There's a couple of people that may be on this space that have seen some of that growth firsthand. I don't know if Blease is still out in the audience. I don't see him there, but yeah, I think there's definitely a market for it. My first question that I had when you started talking was, what's your value add? What are you bringing to the prospect of streaming video that that I'm going to want, that I couldn't get from just going directly to Twitch or Kick myself?
Sure, it's a great question, but that's the whole thing of the Metaverse Music Network that we've created. So as our network expands, we basically increased exposure and reach, visibility, across chain, across platform, enhanced brand recognition. I mean, this is a very niche community. I mean, whether we're in Decentraland, spatial, metaverse, the multiverse, meta, whatever. I mean, these are very, in relation, it's a very niche community. So in order to reach the very specific people to which you're trying to come over to Decentraland, there also has to be a teaching that it's okay to be in multiple platforms. There's a strong passion and dedication to the platforms that people play on, and it's very hard for people to cross over. But I think in the spirit of decentralized music and opportunity, not only does it give an increased exposure and reach to, say, a platform like Decentraland, but as our network grows, that enhanced brand recognition now helps artists put their music out to a greater global audience, and that, a sense, is content distribution, another one, which is inherently going to create more community engagement, which
Okay, so my question to you would then be, as if I'm a small business owner, or if I'm an independent artist, and my music and performance is my business, what is your conversion rate? What are your key performance indicators? Like, if I spend $100 with you, or $1,000 with you, or $10,000 with you, what am I going to get
great
from spending my money with you versus just spending it directly on a streaming platform?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of the level of engagement, and the level of engagement, number one, for like a brand that we're partnering with, is, and we're enabling them to have a deeper relationship by sponsoring a music concert in the metaverse, to which you can now stream and click off, capture But through the metrics that we have, you know, like for example, at the Decentraland Music Festival, we had we had 60,423 impressions. Of that, we had 7,000 uniques. I understand the importance of insights and reporting, and we do have um, those partnerships in place, obviously, because that's where the value is by having those insights and reporting to which you know, brands need to invest. Did I answer your question?
Thank you.
I mean, I would say
Okay,
no.
no, okay, please, yeah,
I'm
yeah, no,
sorry.
okay, 100%. Tell me, I apologize.
I mean, so you're telling me engagement. You gave me
Yeah.
some numbers of like overall impressions and how many uniques, but it's like, okay, so what is the benefit of hiring your company going to grant me that just having my dollars being spent directly on a streaming platform could not get? Because I can get numbers, you know, if I spend a certain amount and I have giveaways or I have promotions or, you know, I have events or activations, right? You know, if I do a promotion on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck they call it now, and I get those numbers, right? So I can say, okay, if I spend, you know, this amount of money, I get this number of impressions. And yeah, I see Make's got his hand up. So that's, yeah, I'm trying to be very very particular, very specific, because you're asking the question. So, you know, as somebody who's started a few businesses, yeah, I would want to know the answer to that question, and honestly, I don't have that answer at this point.
No, I understand what you're saying. You know, I think it has a lot. I mean, we're going through a very significant time in music, right? And in technology with AI. Um, I'll use an example like Samsung. We pitched Samsung smart TVs, you know, I think leveraging technology, you know, in new and exciting ways for opportunities that never existed before is sort of some of the things that, you know, you and I just can't yet communicate, right? Like, but we know that by offering, you know, a dying breed of a television the capability to not only stream in 2D but to offer a 3D 4D virtual experience to engage with fans so they could, I mean, the majority of people watching TV already have a phone in their hand, right? I mean, how long is it going to be until those TVs are just, you know, relics on the wall? So by keeping these types of brands alive, by adapting this new technology and these 3D 4D opportunities for music concerts, I think there is value there, you know, and to be able to connect with their customers in this new and exciting way, you know, and to capture them, and to leave a mark, is exactly where I think it's going to go. Um, but to your point, yeah, I understand that. I mean, I'm not rushing across the finish line. You know, every day I'm learning and growing, and it's conversations like this that really help that. So I do appreciate your time, and thank you very much, and happy holidays.
Thank you for coming up, Make.
Hey, family. First of all, happy Festivus to all all of you. Whether you celebrate, don't celebrate, or anything, still trying to be thankful and grateful. And I'm grateful for you all. I mean, obviously, we're all grinding. Thank you to the Meta Beasts who have been putting in effort. Drip, Rustan, Kinessa, Sinful. We are now Jay, but I see Quan there. We got a ways to go with our project, but I know it's gonna happen. We're gonna fight through it. But even more, and we're not fighting. Excuse me. We just got work to do. But actually, I want to jump in on Rallo's earlier conversation, like statements about streaming to multiple platforms and why that helps Decentraland. Um, I think everybody knows I do my best to send a lot of people to DCL. I'm in a bunch of communities that might not be ready. Some of these other platforms, while we do an event in Decentraland, a great example, when we released our wearable, we had a great party with DJ Trax. He helped us out a lot. Everybody who came to support was awesome. But there was a huge swath of people who weren't ready to come to DCL just at that moment. Like, we did some onboarding, and still not everybody showed up for onboarding, and they wanted to watch and be a part of it, right? So we might have had 40, 50 people, at Trax's place, and we were all hanging out. But we also left the stream open in Spatial for the people who weren't ready to connect their wallets or sign up for anything. And they took part of it here, but they were watching Decentraland. And, I think another 4 to 5, maybe 6 users decided we left a portal to Decentraland, and they decided to jump in. We are dealing with a numbers growth game, right? That's what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to figure out how to make these monetizations happen that sustain our visions. And they're not going to be the numbers in the 60s and 70s. And every time we go to make an activation and we keep growing what is possible, it does help quite a bit. You never know where we're going to find our next Joe or somewhere else, whether that's a Twitter space or on Twitch or Kick or even in Spatial, if they want to go to Decentraland. I think the bigger vision is usually found by getting people together and helping them get there. So maybe we don't have everything worked out, and we don't say, well, how does this directly help our final line in Decentraland? But I think the people here who spend all their time working to bring people there are finding ways to do it. So I think keeping those channels open on all platforms really help. So I just wanted to point that out, that it has been extremely helpful, at least in my experience, right? And I came all the way from AltSpace to find y'all, right? And then I hang out with Cece, who is a spatial guide, quite a bit, as a matter of fact. But we go to Decentraland all the time and introduce people to the world. Finding your people, I think, is the identifying mark that helps us all grow, And I think it's important. So as much as we can't really put our finger on why that makes sense or how that makes sense, Decentraland is the most, you got to connect your wallet and you got to come in and you got to be ready for it. And sometimes it helps to come from another place first. So I just want to say, at least in that sentence or statement, right, that it does really help. And I've probably onboarded just as many people to Decentraland through Spatial as I have just getting people into Spatial. So the most important thing always goes back to us, because wherever we go, whether we jump to Monoverse for a party or we jump to Spatial because we want to talk to somebody with spatial audio, there are different experiences that lead us all together. So either way, happy holidays. I can't wait to keep building with you guys. I'm about to fly with 2 children on the busiest day of the year. So please, everybody pray for my sanity and just know how much I care about you guys.
Could I
Me?
ask what prompted the decision to fly 2 days before Christmas? Well, do you know any alpha that I don't?
Okay, so I made a trade with my wife, and the trade was I was going to go to Miami to have my Christmas. And then she needed to go take care of her mom. Her mom had to have a surgery. She did not get the best deal out of this, I promise you, But it was all part of making everything work. So instead of like us going to stay in a hotel, we're going to go cram ourselves into a room and do a whole bunch of things. Everything was kind of based on I got to be happy first, very selfishly, to meet a lot of you guys. But it doesn't matter. We'll get where we're going. And it's just like this. We are getting where we're going. It doesn't mean everything needs grants either. I mean, man, it's tough right now, right? We're not all just like running around with our pockets filled with mana. And we do have to find ways to be clever. We do also have to find ways, just like Rallo said, to get Web 2 companies into Web 3. That to me is a more enticing way to keep our chains moving than keep going back to the Decentraland well. And I mean, at least in my expectation, right? But I'm also been a freelance artist for 20 years, so I always go try and team up with brands to do stuff. Um, I don't know how I feel, honestly. Like, even in our proposal, and I know that at some point money will be spent, but the point of it was to spend as little money as possibly possible on all sides, and then bring more people in, and then bring in brands around those people to say, hey, because that's what we need. And when the brands come in, we actually do find more success. And I don't know how that all worked, but if we look back at like Music Fest, a couple years ago, when Kraken came in and built all those things and did all that stuff, that's what we need more of. We don't need more of us saying this is going to work. We need more ways to activate large swaths of people, in my opinion. In my opinion. So either way, I know we've got the right people here. We just got to find out more ways to reach out and touch someone. I think it was like 6 months ago, we were talking, I think it was Rustan, Knesset, and Sin talking about doing the Domino's pizza and sending for Forbes pizza. And how would that work? And how could we bring them in through sending them pizza? I think we need to start thinking a lot more external as a team, and like, who are the better fits for us to welcome in those types of communities that can help us grow. And because at the end of the day, until we bring in tons more people, and until mana and crypto stabilize a little bit from where we were, we're just putting, as Kanessa said, immense amount of pressure on the success of just that token. Either way, I really love you guys, and I'm so excited to be pushing forward.
Thank you, Make. Hey, fly safe. Bring extra of everything. Stay the course. That's a whole different kind of battle. Get the TSA pre-check or first class, or oh my gosh, just yeah. Sorry about that. Good luck. You're a madman. And Scott.
Yeah, thank you. First, I wanted to say, have a safe journey. Make. I know that it's very stressful. Make sure you drink plenty of fluids and get lots of rest. What you were saying there just a moment ago, it reminded me of something I said in a space much like this, perhaps a year ago or more. And yeah, I think it bears repeating. If 10,000 people a day, daily active users, showed up to Decentraland, are we ready? Just as a gut check.
I would just say, like the Decentraland Discord for support. Like, I would say we're just, I don't know. I don't think we're ready. Like, that's going to be a lot of questions. That's going to be a lot of inquiries. It's going to be a lot of scammers. It's going to be a whole lot of everything. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a great question, Scott.
Yeah, I'm sad to say I don't think we are either. But I don't know. I don't have an understanding of all the components of the ecosystem. In terms of goodwill and a welcoming attitude. I mean, we definitely have that. And we build on what we have in abundance. So I can see a lot of people moving in those directions, but it's still it would still benefit us to look at the other areas that need shoring up. And what you were talking earlier, Kanessa, about funding the development, the platform category. I mean, there's a reason why in-world content and platform is significantly larger than in percentage wise of funds spent than some of the other ones, because that's, if we don't have that, people are coming for an experience. If you want to get Kraken to spend loads of cash or CoinDesk or Coinbase, sorry. What are they looking for? Well, they're looking for customers, right? So we're providing them with an audience. Well, in order to get an audience to come in, we need to have experiences and experiences for them to have and connections for them to make, either existing connections that they have with their existing friends or to make new ones. But, there has to be something for them to do. And I think over the last year and a half, 2 years, there's been a lot of creation of those experiences. But yeah, I mean, there's whatever. It's really complicated. But I think to have an Occam's razor kind of question, where you can just slice it down the middle and have a yes fall on one side of that blade and a no fall on the other side of that blade. I'll ask that same question. If 10,000 daily active users showed up, are we ready?
Yeah, I mean, just speaking from like you and I looking at the amount of questions that were left unanswered in, the wearable chat and multiple wearables that were created, being asked about, but never reached the publication phase. I mean, I there's just a lot out there. Yeah. I mean, I think we talked plenty last week and the week after, or week before about, foundation layoffs. I think also, there are just less employees at foundation to do, my guess is probably a similar amount of work. I don't, if there's a 30% reduction in employees, I doubt if there was a 30% reduction in work. So that means that the existing foundation employees are working harder to create probably the same amount of work, maybe more if they're coming out with new clients. I do want to segue to Cheddar. I was singing your praises. I said I want to buy Cheddar coin. I want to buy stock in Cheddar because I'm so bullish on you. So I want to make sure, I know everybody's busy. It's before the holidays and people have to come and go. So I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to, speak while they're up here so they can go and do their thing. How are you, Cheddar? You're busy, aren't you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Did I push the speaker button? I didn't
You're
mean
up
to.
here. Yeah, you're up here as a speaker. We got you.
I didn't mean to. I just meant to listen to everything that you guys are saying. I'm heading to Australia in a week, so I'm really, really busy, but I just still wanted to, just kind of listen in on the conversation, what's going on and interesting talk that you guys are having. And yeah, no, happy holidays, everyone.
Aus- Australia, like the place with all the scary animals that Billy lives in.
Yep. Hopefully I'll get to meet Billy while I'm out there.
Please meet Billy while you're out there.
That would be awesome.
I
That
do
would be a
understand
treat. Not
it's like
many
a
of us would get to go to Australia and meet Billy, so that's a real treat, honestly.
right. I do understand it's a huge. Is Australia a continent? Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna be in Melbourne, which is in the southern part of Australia. I'm sad that I don't get to see Sydney, but there's gonna be plenty to do. We have a full itinerary while we're there, so I'm excited. And it's gonna be New Year's, so I'm celebrating New Year's in Australia.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. Can you make sure that you have like a Vegemite New Year's like appetizer, like something with Vegemite on, and then like screenshot it, share it to Instagram? I love food pics. If anybody doesn't know what Vegemite is, it's a
I'll be
Australian.
sure to do that. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a I'll just say it's an Australian
It's
delicacy.
disgusting.
It's
what it
disgusting,
is.
but it's a delicacy that Billy puts on everything. It's like
I don't want it.
green
British
and
people eat it too.
yeah, it's like green vegetable salt.
Oh no, they eat Marmite. Because you said green, that's when I realized I was wrong. I was thinking of a different mite.
No, Vegemite, it's like green, salty. Back when I was like living seasonally with like people from around the world up in Alaska, that somebody had it and they put it on a sandwich, and I have a pretty open mind, but I was like, why are you eating this? But they were making fun of me because I was putting M&Ms and peanut butter on my pancakes, so It's an acquired taste.
Sounds like seaweed.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, Vegemite. You'll have to look it up. Billy has spoken fondly about it. But yeah, Cheddar, I was singing your praise because I was saying like our entire fate rests on you possibly to we're gonna turn you into a lobbyist in DC to change crypto laws for everybody, the entire crypto ecosystem. So no pressure.
I'm the wrong one. I hate
No,
government.
no, you are the right one.
No, I my first order of business actually is to leave this place. As a matter of fact, you know, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now, I'm not too keen of like being in the place where the bombs are manufactured, especially being in Virginia, and like Virginia is literally where, you know, a lot of these companies are. So I'm trying to leave this place as soon as I
Come to
graduate.
Florida. This
I'm
is
out of here. So any of you that will take me, I'm gonna ask Billy first. I'm gonna go and scope out Australia and see how the the vibe is out there. But yeah, I'm not trying to be in the United States any longer. So I'm trying to leave here. So
You're just going directly to where they filmed Mad Max. You're just
yeah.
like
Well, and
skip to the
if I can't go
apocalypse.
back to Puerto Rico, it's over. Like I'm just gonna pick somewhere else to go. But I'm leaving.
Hey, there's parts of like Washington State that don't really consider themselves part of the union. I probably could go down a rabbit hole really quick, but
That's
yeah,
too close to Russia.
Yeah, come out west. We yeah, but I don't know, maybe not. I don't know that it's any better, but yeah. Well, safe travels, Cheddar. Please share for those of us that aren't traveling physically. Please, like, literally, when you share, or anybody like Mariana's been sharing pictures, like it is so awesome. I like if you can, or just don't share, unplug, live in the moment. So, but be safe wherever
I
you
love
go.
you all, and I'm looking forward to 2024 in Decentraland. This is a really good conversation you guys are having right now. Growth is painful, and I think that we're going through like another painful phase of the growth, but we have grown. And as a community, we're still here, and we're still together, and we're still grinding and working and building. And so, like, I'm really proud of us. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Cheddar.
Does anyone else just see Rustan's name down in the listeners and just smile every time? Like, love that man so much.
I do. He showed me a painting that he did of a Fortnite character. I'm like, dang, you get all the fun.
Puddle team leader.
Puddle team, yep.
Yep. I think he's showed me that same painting. Very, very well made, yes. Shout out to Rustan's YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type Rustan. You can thank me later. Lot of good content there.
But don't stream it to Twitch at the same time, right?
That was so hilarious how in the middle of Beyond the NFT with Latch, we were like showing his collaboration like Rustan X Latch, and then in the middle of it just like Twitch goes down. I'm like, oh, looks like I'm banned for like the next whatever however long. But I will say that Twitch has like changed their policy recently. They have this I don't know if it's a category or they just like allow shit now, but it's called what is it, creative nudity or artistic nudity, and I'm guessing like, you know, Rustan could fit the perfect you know, the description there. But I've been seeing streamers also test it and then like, you know, go on live with like the little black bars that hide, you know, hide parts. Both men and women have been trying this. Some get banned, others not so much. But kudos to them for pushing the limits, I guess, on being naked on the internet.
Oh, that's funny. It's funny. I love how Rustan has just like desensitized us to like that. Like I remember Kazakhstan, like we were always partying there at the beginning, and then I'd see like some NFT naked art, I'd be like, whoa, like somewhere else, I'd be like, wow, okay, whoa, that person's like really naked. And then I was like, wait a second, like I'm always seeing naked people at Rustan's, but like Rustan does it so tastefully, and Rustan is a goat, and so I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I'm like seeing
Thanks,
Sawyer,
guys.
in the painting. It's not some unknown.
Good morning, Rustan.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. You guys are too nice. I think that Twitch.
Well,
I think that Twitch thing got reverted too because so many people abused it immediately. I don't know if that's official or not.
Damn. So just like that, I mean, leave it to humans to ruin a good time.
So I figured since you called my name, it might as well be a good time to come up and speak. Some of you guys probably don't know I got drained yesterday, which sucks. I lost my beast, but I bought it back today.
Nice. Got the beast back. Very, very, very unfortunate that you, lost it. I personally heard about it. I wanted to kind of hit you up and just tell you that I love you. Just give you a couple of days or so for that, because I know that your DMs were probably getting bombarded with everyone kind of reaching out. But yeah, dude, very unfortunate. Did you ever find out kind of what was the cause of it?
Yeah, about a month ago, I was actually almost 2 months ago, I was asked to do an interview, which happens often. It's really hard to talk.
No worries, Rustan. Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, I was just gonna say we love you, man. Take your time. You don't need to talk now if you can't.
You know that we have lots and lots of love for you, dude. And any way that we can support, we're here. Oh man, I'm loving all the hearts in the room. And big shout out to Dr. Drip. I see Jay down there. Poltradamus. What up, Quan? We have White Rabbit in the building. Meese, good to see you, my friend. And yeah, just remember to like and retweet the room. And yeah, happy all of you are here. If I guess oh, go ahead, Kanessa. I did see your mic unmute.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm just appreciative of the people in this room. We're a good group. We've been through a lot together. I see KJ down there. It's yeah. I mean, it is a crazy environment we live in, but we got each other. So yeah, just love to y'all.
I saw that Bio had his hand raised. Perhaps maybe we can pass it over to Bio, and if Rustan is comfortable enough, coming back and speaking a little bit after, then we'll pass it back to Rustan.
Appreciate you, Sin. Shout out to Kanessa. I've been rugging for a couple of minutes here. Maybe a couple of hours actually, since I've been in other spaces. Twitter has not been cooperating with me today at all. Elon, I'm gonna open a ticket on you. Respond to that ticket, because this is bullshit. I'm paying for the plus. Stop playing. Shout out to everybody in DCL, by the way, who's tuned in to the community spaces. I just want to say, Sinful, Kanessa, shout out to you guys for always bringing us together. I hope and I think I got rugged. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you read the first.
There you go. Elon's messing with me. I said his name a little bit too many times. I'm sorry, Elon. Let me finish this speech, please. Come on. Give me 10 seconds. I promise I'll stop talking. So shout out to all of you guys. Thank you again for allowing me to come up here. I just want to say, Cowboy, appreciate you for the shout outs. I like the way you're thinking about that onboarding process. Just jumping a little bit back to when he was speaking on onboarding. Vita TV, we've done stuff like that as well. Just as I've seen other people around the other communities in Decentraland, as like the Inn, such as the Innkeeper, if you're not familiar, who are they as well? For those not a part of DCL, that is another place in Decentraland that hosts many community events physically as well in their region of the world. We've seen this actually become a trend in Decentraland this past couple months now, recently, having these digital crossover multiverse events. And I really want to encourage people just to keep on doing that. Keep connecting many worlds, creating these bridge across so many different social media platforms, so many social outlets. I mean, use everything that you can think of. Eventbrite, I can't stress how powerful Eventbrite is. That is like the number one ultimate location to onboard people and host virtual events through ticketing, through the web too. There's many different ways of how you can onboard through that. So look into that. Also, check out these virtual events that go on within these social mixers. You can even check Airbnb listings that do virtual events as well. These are all type of social mixers that I join when I can't really go out in New York City because of whatever X or Y Z reason is causing me not to. So there is many ways you can onboard other people initially. So keep in mind, I believe personally, this is not referencing to anyone specific, but I believe that working on a proof of concept first and self-funding your project to prove the sustainability and the proof of concept of something being actually operational, right? You can actually have a working logistics operation showing that the financial metrics and also the population of impressions and interactions actually show its value, right? So that's sort of how I'm building Vita TV as well, because a grant to me, again, I believe it's not to start a business, but to further assist a business to close out a certain achievement that they're trying to reach, or to further assist it move it to a next level. I believe it takes a lot of money to start up a business. So believing and hoping in a grant to do that is just like, I mean, come on, you're gonna know you're gonna wind up coming back with more money. You don't have a lot of money to keep going, and it takes a two-way process, right? You got to match that. So yeah, keep that in mind. Shout out to Cowboy Tom. Shout out to all of you guys that are doing such an amazing job here. Rustam, my brother, I love you a lot, my guy. You and I have chopped it up so many times. I've pulled up to Casa Rustam. I mean, the vibes you have brought into the Decentraland has been super unique and super innovative. I really want to say December 29th, I have an event coming up. And if anybody wants to donate something to Rustam, let's make that happen. Rustam, I'm definitely going to send something to you as well. Send me your wallet, brother. I really want to help anyone in our community that gets dropped down. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all fall. I come from a military family. All my families are Marines. And I believe no man is left behind. So if one of our soldiers, one of our partners, one of our family members drop, it's our job and responsibility to pick them back up and keep us all moving on the same step. So with that being said, thank you for letting me talk, guys. Appreciate all you guys. Happy holidays. I love you all. Let's keep getting stronger. Let's keep spreading this awareness, and let's keep growing, guys. I love what we're doing, and I can't wait to see what 2024 has in store for all of us.
Thank you, man. I just want to say, like, I don't, you guys don't have to donate anything to me. I really appreciate that, but I'm planning to. So, all right, so let me get through everything I wanted to say. So this person emailed me um, what seemed like a very legit email asking for an interview about my Web3 experience, which happens at least once a month for me. So it was nothing out of the norm. And they wanted to schedule a date to interview me. So I told them, how about in 2 weeks? And they prepared questions for me. And I reviewed the question. Like, usually I don't even need questions beforehand, but I decided to read the questions. It was a PDF, which in hindsight I probably shouldn't have opened, but I think the PDF was fine. And the questions were all really good. It was like some of the best interview questions I've ever had, actually. And in hindsight, I realize now that was written by ChatGPT. which I wanted to bring up so you guys know that scammers are using ChatGPT now. And so then came the day of the interview. Literally 3 minutes before the interview, they send me a link like Zoom call, but a different app that I had to download. And of course, I'm thinking like, well, this is so dumb. This is such a waste of time, especially with Web3. Like, we could just meet in Hyperfy and have a meeting there, and I don't have to sign in. I don't have to download anything, you know. But I'm like, whatever. I'll educate them on that, you know. Like so I'm thinking they're the kooks, but I'm the kook for falling for it. And so I go to the website, which looks really pristine. Click the link, download this zip file, and start to install it into my computer. Long story short, my guard was down, sense of urgency to be on time for this meeting that starts a minute ago, you know. I gave them remote access to my computer. And installing, so I responded to them saying that the app failed. So like, we can't do the interview on that. Can we just do Zoom or in my Hyperfy? And and they responded to me saying like, oh no, this is a proprietary app used by our company. Let me talk to the owner and get back to you in a few hours. Obviously, he's trying to stall me. And you know, right there, I just felt like I made a mistake. I made a big mistake, and I was very hyper aware for the next 3 weeks. Begin prepping to reset my computer completely, backing up all the files that I needed. I stopped typing in my passwords to sites that I had to enter. I was like copying them and pasting them instead of typing, and it seemed like it was gonna be good for 3 weeks, you know. And I moved all lingering ETH that I had in my hot wallets to my cold wallet, which was good. So I had time to do that. And I honestly think they maybe were watching to see my balances over the course of that time, so they could do the hack, you know, at the maximal time. And as I was like, usually after I finish a video, one of my body paint videos, I go into my documents folder and delete files that don't need to be there anymore. And I found a zip file that basically had a zip file and also the actual files that were in the zip. It showed me what they had stolen from me, basically. And it was all text and images on my desktop. And there was nothing of value there. But it also accessed my browsers and collected all my wallet information. There's no seed phrases anywhere, so somehow they were able to hack my wallet with the information that existed in my browsers currently, and they hacked my wallet and wallets. I say the biggest heartbreak.
Thank you, Rustan. Thank you. I do want to welcome Michael K to the stage. I see his hand is up. It's been a while. Good to see you, my friend. Michael K is part of the Wallet Guard team. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks for having me up here. Rustan, the story is just very unfortunate. And it's something that I see all too often. Guys, we need to wake up. We need to change the sentiment of the space. If we're not talking about security, especially when you're onboarding somebody new, you're doing them a disservice. I cannot stress it enough. We make it super easy to secure your devices. I just pinned up to the top a post that we made in the Wallet Guard Academy, which again is a free resource for ways to secure your wallets, how to set up your devices, how to Web 2 before you Web 3. No one cares about managing their credentials, having an antivirus, having an ad blocker until it's too late. Nobody cares about securing their wallet assets because they don't think it's going to happen to them. We need to change the sentiment of the space. We need to talk about these things and make sure we're set up the right way so the situation with what we just heard about Rustan doesn't happen again. Easy wins. I'm not telling you guys to go out and spend thousands of dollars and buy hardware firewall appliances and reconfigure it. No. I'm telling you to do simple things like get an open source ad blocker like uBlock Origin. It installs in 1 second. Get an antivirus like Malwarebytes Premium so that you don't run into the situation that Rustan did. Most people are compromised right now and they don't even know because they don't have the right security in place. Let's Web 2 before we Web 3. Because when people are scraping their money together to come into Web 3, the last thing that we want is for them to look back and say, hey, this whole space is a scam. I'm never touching it again. My DMs are open. If anybody ever has any questions, if anyone has a community and they want to talk about wallet safety, they want to talk about how to secure your devices, I charge absolutely nothing. It is unlimited utility, unlimited value to talk about this stuff first. And please, if you haven't done so already, check out Wallet Guard. We're not a wallet. We're not an NFT. We're not a token. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to connect your wallet to us. You don't have to sign anything, but we can still show you wallet drainers before you enter websites, risk factors when you run transactions, things that you shouldn't interact with before you even touch them. It is a no-brainer. It's an easy win. Let's help everybody protect their crypto. Let's go.
Real
Thank you,
quick though,
Michael.
like let's make sure we don't blame the victim, and let's give Rustan a second because I don't think he was actually finished telling us what happened.
Yeah, so the biggest heartbreak was that all the money raised for Julia's gift was taken. So I'm just gonna tell her mother I'm gonna offer to pay that out of my pocket.
Rustan, do you mind if I tell people who Julia is?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. One of the first things that Rustan and I talked about, actually, I don't know if I'm any better. One of the first things Rustan and I ever talked about doing in Decentraland was something for a beautiful person named Julia, and she was a model for Rustan, who he painted years ago, and painted some amazing art. And time passed, and Rustan went to contact her and sadly found out that she lost her life due to a fentanyl overdose. And time went on, and he realized that, or just, he remembered that there was actually footage taken of Julia. In a really weird coincidence, a VR company consigned Rustan and Julia to take 360 video of her painting herself with Rustan's, guidance. And so there was this footage out there. And so he told me, like, if we ever get that footage, we could put Julia in the metaverse where she could live forever. And her parents could come see her one more time. And so, there was some red tape, and I think, Rustan thought maybe that would never happen, but it did. Rustan moves mountains, and so he created a place in Decentraland, or actually, well, it was going to be in Decentraland, Julia's World, but Decentraland wasn't able to actually do it, so it's in a different platform. And had a fundraiser, sold a lot of Julia's art, and all of that was, I believe, going to go to her family for fentanyl overdose awareness. And so that's where we're at, and I hope I gave that story justice as much as possible.
Yes, thank you, Kanessa. Yeah, so that's just been sitting there for like a year, and they got access to that and that's a bigger bummer to me than losing the Beast and Gemma, and I lost about 1 ETH in total, and like I would have rather lost DCL land than that. But so I'm planning to drop an emote as soon as I can start working on it, to hopefully recoup some of these funds and recover that. Like I said, the Beast, what they did with the Beast was they accepted an offer through my MetaMask and immediately took the money that they collected. And the person who bought it flipped it to a whale, and I was able to contact the whale, and the whale sold it back to me today. So I got that back. So I'm pretty far in the hole on that stuff. But I know I could make something cool that you guys would want. So when I put that out there, would love the support.
Well, and I know you'll do this on your own because that's what you do, but you don't get that choice. We're going to help you one way or another. As I've said before, if we can't come together to help people in their greatest time of need, then we're nothing. Doesn't matter how many times I say community or put it on the title. It's times like this when we show what a community is. So I don't know how, I don't know when. I've been having people contact me how to help you, and kind of just said, let's let you just process this, let the dust settle, and then you got your families here. You got your Beast family, you got your DCL family, and you just got your family. You don't have to do this alone.
Thank you, guys. Also, I just wanted to mention, so I'm basically abandoning my hot wallet that this all happened on, the main one, which is my main DCL wallet. Luckily, my land wasn't on that wallet; it was delegated. But it's very expensive and time-consuming to move everything over. Luckily, moving most of my wearables has been pretty easy on the DCL marketplace. OpenSea is not as easy, and then ETH is crazy. So, like, one thing that I learned is that, especially with gas prices now, it's going to be pretty expensive for me to move some of my ETH assets to a new wallet, and so I'm just waiting until tonight to do that. But it's just like one positive thing I noticed about Polygon is it's a lot cheaper to move your shit when you get hacked. So I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm going to start minting things on Polygon so people don't have to worry about that in the future.
Yeah, and I know with another person whose wallet was compromised, that hacker was able to put a bot in so that any if I say this correctly, any Polygon that's put in is automatically drained away, or maybe it's the ETH, so that you can't even get your ETH assets back, because as soon as you put something in that wallet for gas fees, it's automatically drained. So all their L1 wearables cannot leave. Yeah, so I think that's also really important to think about. Like, I mean, you can go play around in that wallet, but you can never get those out just because that bot is in there. It's automated. It doesn't, like, I've heard somebody be like, yeah, I tried it 10 months later thinking maybe it would work now, and the money was just gone instantly. Michael, you've got the floor.
Yeah, I just want to say two things. There is a way to get assets out of wallets that have MEV bots associated. It's basically sandwiching a transaction into a single block for not only moving Matic or ETH into the wallet, and then also taking that asset out of said wallet. We also do talk about this with Wallet Guard, but the first thing I want to mention really quickly is the last thing I want people to think is that I'm victim shaming. Like I said, my DMs are open. I'm here to help people. Rustan, since you started again and created your new wallets, please shoot me a DM. I would love to make sure that you're secured and that you don't run into the situation that you run in with again. It hurts me when I go onto Twitter and I see people talking about losing their assets. And I think that really when it comes down to it, a lot of projects don't even talk about security until it's too late, which is one of the most unfortunate things. Like I said before, people spend a lot of time and money bringing their assets and money into the space only to lose all of it from a single click. It's just not practical to onboard people if we're losing everything so quickly. So yeah, I'm here for the community. I've been in Decentraland since the end of 2019. I've built in Decentraland. I know that the community is very strong and tight knit. I know that we're all here to help Rustan. So Rustan, please, if you have any questions, if you just want to make sure everything's 100%, my DMs are open. I don't charge anything. Over the past week and a half, I've helped hundreds of people with their assets and the whole situation with flooring protocol, NFT trader, the ledger exploit. This is like, I get enjoyment. I feel like I get value out of helping people. So really unfortunate to hear that story, Rustan. And I know that you'll bounce back, bro. Keep your head up, and we're here. Everyone's here to help you out.
Yeah, Rashawn, first off, man, just like thank you so much for sharing what happened to you, and even as difficult as it was to talk about what went down. I know it's not easy to say, to kind of recall everything that happened, and definitely wasn't trying to fire any shots at you, Michael K, by saying don't blame the victim, but I think this is just a good reminder that like this could really happen to any of us, because this was a particularly well thought out, well planned, fairly sophisticated social engineering attack. And like of all people, Rustan really knows his security practices. Like I've had so many conversations with him about keeping stuff safe, and he's got a hardware wallet. He's pretty up to, he's a pretty techie dude. I think we all know. So Michael K is right. Like we all need to take the steps to make sure people are well educated about ways that you can prevent these kind of things from happening to you. Because it goes to show like it really can happen to anybody. And it's also true that we're never going to be able to onboard the amount of people that we want to bring into this space if this is the type of like sophisticated social engineering bullshit that they're going to have to go up against. We all heard the hurt in Rustan's voice just now, and that most people that went through that after just coming into this space are gonna say screw this. This is not something I want to go through again. So Rustan, you get all my love and respect, man, for coming up here and sharing what happened so we can all look out for that type of thing. I know it wasn't easy, especially, man, like when you told me what happened to the Julia's gift donations, that hurt me. I felt offended for you, because I know how special that was to you. And yeah, man, like it takes a lot of strength and courage to come up here and be able to like kind of share that with us, even as heartbreaking as it is. So we definitely, you have our support, and like, man, we're gonna make this right somehow, one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, I think just looking at the events over the past year, it can happen to anyone. It happens to you know people well entrenched in the space. Make, you've got the floor.
I mean, first of all, I'm gutted for Rustan because he's done so much for our community and us. I mean, he has been working with me to try and figure out stuff and Kinessa and Sinful for a whole nother community, and he gives so much of his time and heart. So when you're ready, Rustan, I promise we're here for you. I promise, emotes. But anything else we could do. Listen, I got hit this year, and Michael, I have wallet guard. When they got me, it wasn't on my phone, and it blew my wallets off my phone and computer, and they got everything. It was a hot wallet. They got all my mana. They got a shit ton from me. I did. It's hard, right? Because all of us are creators who rely on people to give us work, and they give us work by contacting us here. And there aren't a lot of great answers. But first of all, thank you, Rustan, for even talking about it, because it destigmatizes. I got hit this year. CC got hit this year. DJ Trax got hit this year. And the list goes on and on. These are people we care so much about and love. And at least in this room, we find we will rally around Rustan. That's not even a question. But man, I watched in certain ones the shaming, and thank you, Unknower. And I know it wasn't you, Michael, but the shaming of people like, oh, you did it, you clicked the link. It's like, man, these social engineering things are very hard to wrap our heads around. I actually got hit. I was with CK at ETH Denver, last year, this year, however you want to say it. And I saw a promoted tweet to something I was chasing that somebody had paid for, and I hit it. And it literally, I didn't even say yes. I went to just go look at it, and it connected my wallet. And then my wallet was no longer on my phone or my computer. And they just absolutely fested. Thank God it didn't have, some of the things, but it does raise a point that Kanessa and I have been on the back channels and Rustan, and it's pretty particular to what we're building right now for the Beast and coming in, right? And I think it's a good time to open the floor of conversation. So with Link wearables, it does work different than wearables, and as much as I had tried to do as much research as possible, I'm not a dev. B, there are a lot of conflicting thoughts from very smart people on how they work. And the reality with Link wearables is you don't get if you don't know, a lot of you already do, you don't get a Link wearable airdropped. You need to connect your wallet, and then you need an API that says, hey, your Beast or whatever it is, insert wallet is seen through that API, and then you get to launch it in Decentraland without getting too specific. Michael, I would actually love a talk with you maybe after the holidays early, because I think in this scenario, Link wearables now pose a much greater risk than they used to about connection points. In my head, I was thinking it might have to evolve to something like a Metrica or something where something is just reading a pass-through wallet or something. But it is an issue, right? We want to loosen the connection points and strengthen our safety. And it's something we are going to actively talk to the foundation about, because it is scary, this world we live in. And the last thing we want to do is try and welcome in an entire community and then shed any light that is negative because of these processes. So, Michael, maybe we could talk in the back channels with your team to come up with some solutions. And it is time to think a little, it's hard to connect to Decentraland, want to connect to the Decentraland or anything with my hot wallet, like with my cold wallet. I do not. And the other thing that happens, and this is also something we need to reflect upon, not only as a community, right, but for Decentraland, is like the right to be reinstated. So I had the saddest thing that happened to me, besides like money stuff, like shit, wearables, whatever that comes and goes when you do get attacked, is that wallet address is also your online persona. Like, it is Rustan and all his friends, his locations, his himself to us, right? And that just happened to see too, where all of a sudden we're in our favorite community, and we're like, we don't any longer have our friends attached to us. We can't jump to our friends because they have to refriend us. And we all know getting friend requests, back into the conversation when you're in Decentraland, you got to get everybody to say, oh yeah, there's my friend, let me refriend them. And you're dealing with this, attack, and this emotional attack, and then you find that your friends aren't immediately there for you to deal with. So maybe in this conversation also, it's the right to be reinstated as ourselves. And I don't know that there's an easy answer there, but that to me was almost the most heartbreaking thing. Like, I couldn't connect to Spatial and see my hundreds of friends, and I couldn't go hang out with Biometa because I couldn't find him. And it was an extra hurt that actually hurt me so much at the time because I felt so isolated and alone, and it's so hard to start over. Sometimes you don't want to. These are bridges we need to cross, and again, specifically for what we're all working on with the MetaBeast, and we do need some solutions. I just want to tell you, Rustan, no matter what, I'm grateful for you telling us, because we don't fix things unless our leaders are honest with us. And I promise you support, at least from me. Any way I can help make this a better situation, I promise you I'll do it. So I just want to thank you. And if anybody's got some wheels turning on how we can start making solutions for this process of linked wearables, please reach out to Ganessa or myself, and Michael will be writing you for after the holidays.
And just to sum that up, also just to say, like, basically what we're talking about is having, like, most Beast owners want to have their Beast in their cold wallet, but in order to have this linked wearable, it has to be in your hot wallet. So we're talking about options like, can you delegate your asset? Because I mean, the Beast community, I mean, we think we're cool, but we're talking about, like, how does this transfer generalize to every other community? Because we shouldn't invite anybody here if they're not going to be safe. So if we can figure this out just for the Beasts, then we can make the entire linked wearable process that much safer. Because, you know, I don't know if Bored Apes would want to come in and have their ape on their hot wallet just so they can walk around with their linked wearable.
I've seen HP say it a bunch of times, you don't technically even need an NFT to exist to make a linked wearable, so I would therefore assume there must be a solution that would make it so you don't have to actually connect your hot wallet to benefit from the thing, I would think.
Okay, that's good. Maybe I can hit you up or hit HP up. We're just starting this process, and a lot of the questions once we meet with Nico, not Nico, the other Nico, will come available. And then, as soon as we do, we're going to put this will be in Decentraland documentation, and the entire process hopefully will be much more streamlined, so that we've got a lot of questions as we're going through it. I mean, it's absolutely unrelated, but kind of related to wallet safety. But it's these things, if we have incentive to make less safe choices with our NFTs just to have that physical thing in world, that's going backwards. So we want to have more incentives to have our cake and eat it too. We want our wearable, but we want our NFT to be safe. Cowboy Tom, I know you've had your hand up for a while. Scott just threw that hand up. Is it something just relating to this, Scott? And then
yeah, it's definitely related to this. Rusan, I just want to say, man, I'm sorry about that, bro. Definitely, if you do another fundraiser, I think we all can come together and definitely put the funds back so you can make that happen for what you was trying to do. And I think with the wearable thing, we were just saying, Canessa, definitely have Wallet Guard. Wallet Guard locks your assets in your wallet, so definitely I would lock in with Michael and see how, because Michael, aren't you right now when Beast hook up to the hub, they're getting Wallet Guard? What, didn't you just do something like that? So maybe you can do something similar for Decentraland.
Yeah, we got a partnership with the Beasts when we launched Wallet Guard Pro. If you're a Beast, you get to claim it free for life. But as of right now, everything is free. But it would be great to do something with Decentraland, and because of what happened last week with the NFT trader exploit and people getting their apes taken from even their cold wallets, their ledgers and Trezors, we actually pre-released some information about soft locking and Wallet Guard, where you could actually lock your asset and confirm there's no open approval. So even if something does try to mess with it, it doesn't have the ability to move it. So yeah, would definitely love to talk to you guys to get some of this stuff implemented. Shout out to you, Cowboy Tom, man. I see you in the spaces, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm everywhere, man. You know what I'm saying?
Just to piggyback off of what Michael K was saying. Hi, Michael, by the way. It's been a while. I'm happy to see you in here. But just, if there's, I know other NFT projects have had airdrops that are, related to previous NFTs that people have, and the service that they offer is, they'll take a snapshot prior to the airdrop, so that the person is essentially proving that, this is the NFT that I have associated, with this wallet. I don't understand all the particulars of it, but I do know that there's like, it's kind of like a prior authorization. And if I'm saying anything that's incorrect, please, anybody out there, correct me. So it's like all of this stuff is created by people, right? So it's just a matter of, yeah, there's a solution, but how complicated of a solution is that going to be? So I'm encouraged to hear that you guys are in conversation, and yeah, this is a space that's co-created, not just from the foundation or the DAO, but also us, the users, and I think that's part of the secret sauce of Decentraland. So I think that through events like this, we can become more resilient and stronger.
Take it away, Mick.
Yeah, I do want to say that I use Wallet Guard every day as a beast, and I gotta say it works. It does work. The only thing that happened was when that whole thing happened from my phone, that literally nuked stuff off my computer. But it really does let you know what's going on. I'm not an paid advertiser. I'm not an affiliate, but it has changed how I interact. Whether that's hot wallet or cold wallet, it's always on. It gives you a strength of like what's going on with your stuff, that I would highly recommend it. Also, malware bytes was talked about, that, just to do a scan of your computer. It does cost, I think, about $100 a year. But as we know, the minute, and we all, it's at $100 and it's $100 and it's $100 and it all adds up. Well, and I also just want to say, let's not just make this about Web3. You know what I mean? It's like the other day, a good friend of mine, he owns a very successful hat business, right? Like for golf and, funny enough, pickleball, but that doesn't matter. And he had a Zelle transaction that was somehow fraudulent, and they managed to get $60,000 from his account. Okay. And guess what? Zelle is not FDI insured. So at the end of the day, he was asked out $60,000. So we live in a world where if you open your mailbox or pick up your phone or look at an ad that's on a computer for an invoice, we are subjected. Okay. It is a worldwide problem. It is so much easier for someone to figure out how to commit a fraud online that you can't chase down, that it is to make a successful project. Why is fraud rampant? Because I never made an NFT project, where I had to convince all these people to believe in me. It's way easier to get one person and steal from them. And a lot of people are spending their time doing it, unfortunately. So any way we could get smarter, this is for everything we do. Just a thought, and just to remember that it's everywhere. Big love, fam.
Hey, Mike, recently I was almost scammed by Zelle. I actually I bought something online, and I sent them a Zelle. My dumbass didn't go through the app's payment process because they were complaining about the fees. So I was like, all right, let me try this. So I sent them $600 through Zelle. Luckily, I called my bank because they didn't send me the item, and I called my bank, and my bank just returned the money like right away. And come to find out, he also had Bank of America too. So they actually took it out of his account and put it right back in my account and said, have a nice day, sir. You don't have to worry about it anymore. We'll take care of it. That's something we don't have in Web3. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the reason why scams are so rampant in Web2 is because the bank is willing to replace the money. You know what I'm saying? The government's insuring money. You know what I'm saying? So, but in Web3, we don't have any type of insurance. And me and Michael was talking about this. Like, we need the similar type of insurance. You know what I'm saying? We need to see what the banks are doing and kind of try to offer some of those things, because that will definitely help a lot of people out. If you can have some type of financial insurance on your wallet, you know, like I said to Mike, you know, if Wallet Guard is, you know, the be all, you know, see all, like you can offer to insure people just by, hey, download Wallet Guard and you're insured up to $250,000. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna keep you out of all the shit. You know what I mean? Stuff like that I would love to see in the space, because then that's gonna really like bring a lot of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for, like um people are going to put more trust into, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to just be seen as like a scam if they know that they're going to get the same protections that they're used to from their bank.
Yeah, Make and Canessa really appreciate the comments. And, you know, Make, one of the first things that we're trying to do, and we've been trying to do, is bring mobile support because it's much needed. A lot of people just have mobile devices. You know, they keep their MetaMask or their wallets on their mobile device, which is understandable. So, I mean, as of right now, the dashboard, the security dashboard, is mobile friendly. You could go to dashboard.walletguard.app and see all your open approvals, revoke assets, and all that good stuff. But having native phishing detection and transaction simulation is definitely the goal. And Canessa, I'm going to be dropping some alpha inside of this Decentraland space. So within the next few months, we're going to be releasing a package where you get Wallet Guard Pro, Malwarebytes Premium, and insurance for your crypto through Fairside for like $30. We're going to change the game with this. And this is the first space that I'm dropping this publicly on. I think it's super important to drop this. I think I did mention it once before, but you know, we're going to be starting to advertise this over the next month. I think it's going to be a game changer for not only people that are here, but people that you're onboarding. Let's say you're onboarding your dad, right? I mean, they need a fail-safe. They're going to ask about security, insurance. Well, why not do it all in one package? So I think it's something that's been very needed in the space for a long time. And we've been working very hard to bring this to the masses. So it's definitely on our roadmap, covering both Web 2 security, Web 3 security, and a fail-safe for insurance. So it's coming.
Thank you, Michael. We need that, you know, we need that now more than ever. Thank you for trusting us with that information. I personally like the client to load Decentraland. You need to use your mobile in order to log in with that, and that's a huge liability, a huge risk. So like as Decentraland talks more and more about like, are we going to have a web-based browser, or are we just going to go to client? I think that there's a lot of people that will struggle to trust, you know, the using the mobile device to log into Decentraland. I think that that's like a giant roadblock that we don't talk about enough. And so, yeah, I appreciate the conversation. We will keep this going. And as that develops, Michael, please keep us in the loop and let us know how we can support.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, my Twitter's bugging out. I couldn't tell who was talking before or after. My bad, guys. Gotta love that. President. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, I think, look, this is it's good that mass adoption didn't happen quickly, because just imagine all of these scams, and what even happened last week was happening when there's 10 times the amount of people in the space. I mean, think about the losses that would have been accrued. It would have been mind blowing. So to give time for mass adoption, I hope it takes a decade or two. It gives time, like developers like us, to build out these security layers to make the space safer, because it's very bare metal right now, and it just wouldn't make sense for somebody to come in and just lose everything so quickly. So I'm all about mass adoption, but I'm happy that it hasn't happened quickly, because it gives us time to talk about this stuff and to teach people so that we can all be onboarders, right? Like, we're all people that have been here. We've went through these experiences. The fact that Rustan came on stage and talked about it, like, big fucking shout out to you, bro. Like, most people, this happens to them and they just leave. They just leave the space. They don't even talk about it. So like, that takes a lot of strength, a lot of resiliency. So yeah, if we talk about this stuff, we can make the space better. And I think we can make it better for the next wave of people that are going to be coming in.
Thank you. One exist?
I thought I was going to make it one space without coming up. But to hear this happen to somebody who has given so much, asked for pretty much basically absolutely nothing in return, it rekindles actually some of those feelings of having been through something similar. Can't say I know how he's feeling, but I do understand exactly. I hate hearing it. I came up. I wanted to mention because you did malware bytes was brought up there, and Billy. Thanks to Billy T Coin, he told me about this. There is a Chrome extension for malware bytes that is free. There is also the paid version that works with Wallet Guard, as well as the revoke cache. If you're not familiar with that, or you revoke your permissions to different sites. That is an extension. Also, all three work well together, I believe. I'd love to hear your opinion on the two, Michael, as well. But there's at least three very big prevention tools right there.
Yeah, they're all definitely good. Big shout out to Roscoe from Revoke Cache, and also the team over at Malwarebytes. You know, we're in active discussion with them. There is the Malwarebytes browser guard, which is a free extension, and that does prevent traditional Web 2 phishing scams and basically malware that you might be interacting with. So that's a very easy win. Malwarebytes.com, of course, has that, and we also do talk about that in the Wallet Guard Academy. So yeah, I mean, we don't see other security tools in the space as competition. Like the more that is available for users to come in and use, the better, right? So like Revoke Cache is a great one. There's Pocket Universe, there's Joint Fire, obviously Wallet Guard, whatever you prefer, I think is just beneficial to at least even mention it to somebody that's coming into the space. So these are easy wins, you know, to be able to help secure your stuff. And, you know, I didn't want to turn this into a discussion about security, but I think that like at the end of the day, like, if we're not doing security first, then none of this matters. None of this matters. The last thing I want is to just wake up and my stuff is gone. Like that's like the worst feeling in the world. Very unfortunate stuff, and you know we can prevent it. We can prevent it if we talk about it.
Exactly. It's one of those. It's I forgot how I was going to say it. It's one of those things people don't want to talk about, but it always ends up being talked about when something like this happens, unfortunately.
Well, and it's something that we should, I think Sin and I have tried throughout time. We were like, okay, this is our like public, or at least at the beginning, like, hey, we haven't talked safety for a while, so we should talk safety. But I think, we talk about it when this happens to our friends, and I guess we have a lot to talk about other days because we can talk for 4 or 5 hours. But it should be something that we address, not just when, somebody loses their names or loses their land or loses something. Like it's daunting, it's overwhelming. And I guess, it's probably like the real dirty work that we have to do for even like, our 401ks, our wills, like our deaths, stuff like that, taxes. It's hard to talk about. It is easier to talk about the state of the wearable community or the price of mana, but at the end of the day, it's probably the things we don't want to talk about that we should talk about.
And I know you're probably you're connected with the beasts. I don't know if you know the folks from Meta Rides. There's two tremendous guys. I think they would be great people to also be talking about this out there in the spaces.
Yeah, definitely. My DMs are open. Any communities, any projects, please hit them in the DM. Hit me with the DM, and we'll put the time in. We'll do the safety sessions. We'll create the content. We'll talk about security. And like I said before, there's no charge. We don't charge anything. This just talking about security makes me feel good. It's just I get value out of just seeing people like just being helped, which is very different from a lot of people's sentiment. So
I'll connect you somehow with Meta Rides. I think you're already. Cat 5 talks about you guys. I think with the Nihilings as well. But Vipe Heroes, Polygonal Minds would be another good one. So I'll see if I can get something rolling there. I'd say go ahead and make, or bio, whoever's first.
I'll be quick because little brother Bio is always cooking. First of all, I really, really can't tell you how much I appreciate this conversation. You know, I'm going to just go back to what it means to be a freelance creative in this world. And I mean, I know everybody in here who's out here doing stuff literally gets emails or tweet every single day, or at least every single week that says, hey, we want to partner with you, or we want you to be an ambassador, or we want you to try a new metaverse, or we want you to shoot this project in Manhattan, you know? And that's how we make our lives. So again, with that social engineering aspect, it's like, and I know there are checks and balances in place again with like Malware Bits, where it's like, hey, this is a new website. This hasn't existed very long. There are some questions. This is on the question mark. But the other thing is, we're also all working with people who are relatively new in the space, making new stuff, right? So there's a borderline. Something just that it keeps going back in my heart and my mind is like, it would be amazing to have like a landing point platform where, you know, it's like, okay, you could copy this text or whatever, and we go to a site and we say boom, and it's like, hey, is this something we could meet in a safe place and have a conversation? I know it's a bit existential, but like, even last week I had like, you know, and I skip all the ones who don't even follow me or all these different things, like how'd you even find me? But even when it comes to like talking to our friends, I mean, I had a friend just get drained who got hacked, and the person just continued the conversation. Hold on, shh, can we not? This is my life. So again, the point is, there needs to be a little bit more, like what everybody is doing on the security side and how many tools are out there are amazing. But I think as we think about all these things and we're pushing forward, we should also be thinking about ways that something like that, like maybe there's a landing point page where we could copy paste text and it's like, this is an AI bot. This came from here. This is not to be trusted. Or this PDF that, you know, has a pixel in it and that pixel is damaged. You know, it's like a safe space for communication with clients and talent as we evolve all this stuff could really help us innovate. And it's more a throw out. And then, Michael, again, we thank you for coming and speaking to us about this. This is a major hot button topic, obviously, today and all year. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you, like, we just got to keep finding solutions. And I think these kind of conversations are what jumpstart innovation.
Yeah, 100%. And I think to add to your point, a way that you can stay safe, because you are going to get DMs asking you to do an interview or to they want to have a video session with you, whatever the case is. I think the best piece of advice that I can give is to stick with your existing channels. So for example, you want to do a video call with somebody, use Google Meet, use Zoom. Don't use some random app they're telling you to download that you've never heard of. That's a massive red flag. So if you're sticking with channels that you already know are safe, you're going to have a much better understanding of, hey, this person's actually trying to scam me by using some shit I've never heard of, because that's really how it goes down. I mean, I get those DMs every hour where they're like, hey, we want you to be a brand ambassador. We pay you X amount of ETH. Let's hop onto Discord for a call. And then you get on Discord and they're like, okay, download this app because the person on the team, he's in China and they can't use Zoom. And massive red flags all over the place. So just keep your eyes peeled for sure.
Yeah. And, you know, we can probably in the future talk more in depth. But I mean, I think that my background is human behaviorism. I mean, we can say all this right now, but you add a little bit of urgency, you add a little bit of money to the situation, you add something else, and we aren't using the same parts of our brain to solve the problems. When you are operating under a time constraint, they did it great. I mean, just they did it great. Your brain just handles it differently. And so, I mean, we can, I think now is not the time to go into the nuances. I mean, I ghosted Doritos when they were like, hey, we want you to, help, like, we want to bring our brand in. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I know the drill. No, it really.
And imagine it was really Doritos, and you're like,
really,
nah, it's all good.
yeah. So, but to be honest, I would rather ghost Doritos than lose my assets. And I mean, I'm a serial ghoster, but so I guess that trait serves you well. However, if anybody in this, space does want to use, I mean, the people that are here that are using this as their livelihood, they have to, I'm just thinking of other people in the space, like this is their livelihood. And we've talked before about like, hey, anytime you're not sure, ask somebody. Like, I know I bugged on Nowhere once when I found this cool, somebody was like, hey, we got this thing, this RFID tag that you come into the convention booth, you get it, and then later you can download the NFT. And I'm like, Nowhere, this sounds so cool, but this sounds so sus. And then Nowhere's like, no, it looks like, checked it out, looks good. But I guess like also, I mean, you can do that all that preventatively, like ahead of time, but still it's going to be that's not when they're going to target you. They're going to add some level of complexity, like they did with Rustan. Time. That was what they got him with. Time. It's like when you're ready for a meeting, they distract you, and then they distract you with good questions, and then add a time constraint. We've got to get this, I'm a minute late. You're already like not thinking the same way as if you were sitting here totally calm. So I don't know. I think my point is that we are the weakest link. We are our brain, our ability to think. Yeah, I know what's going on. No, like our brains have so much plasticity that yeah, I trust my wallet more than I trust my brain. And I left that one hanging. Bio, and then one exists. And it looks like I've got oh yeah, I see some requests. So hold on, guys, I'll get you back up here.
Appreciate you, Canessa. And yeah, just want to tap in there real quick with Michael and just talking a little bit on security as well, just to end that topic. If you guys want to.
You want to go, Bio,
Oh,
or?
I don't think he can hear me.
Oh yeah, I think he's talking. One exists. Maybe you can't hear him. If you can't, you could always drop down and come back up. Sometime, yeah. Twitter's ruggy today.
Definitely, I don't blame him. I've been rugged all morning, all afternoon. So yeah, it's part of my life now here in Twitter. But definitely shout out to Michael for bringing that awareness and letting us know a little bit on what it is that Wallet Guard does. I've been using it now for quite some time, close to 10 months. I've also been using Malwarebytes. I can definitely say that those two together have saved me a lot. You can add a daily scan on Malwarebytes where it can scan your computer. In fact, I actually got hacked one time. Not my wallet, but my computer got compromised. I was playing Grand Theft Auto a long time ago with a good friend of mine named Alpha from the Beavers community. And inside a open server, an RP server, somebody was able to inject a malware virus into my computer. I noticed right away because I started seeing replicating like script codes on my actual terminal, which popped up on itself. I then ran this whole scan thanks to a good friend of mine named Whale back in the days, who was part of the Beavers team. Brought it to my awareness that Malwarebytes actually scans the computer and quarantines all malicious and exploit files. So then it deletes it immediately. So definitely check into that. I prefer you guys to check out the premium version. I know it costs a little bit of money, but it's an investment for your investment. So think about it like that. You want to secure your investments at all costs. This goes in relations also with banking. I own 3 businesses for the past 8 years: Airbnb business, a property management business, and a cleaning service. Now Vita TV is my 4th business in the digital version of the digital world, of bringing businesses virtually. And security was one of our main concerns. For those that know about Vita TV, we made a smart wearable, right? And sort of our concept of having this was to bring in many communities into this space. But our main focus and worry was compromise, right? Back end exploits that people can actually tap in. So I definitely want to just throw out there to Michael and say, how possible is it where Wallet Guard can possibly make like a SDK7 script where we can also drop that into our virtual worlds inside the Decentraland? For example, like an SDK parcel, we can drop that in there and it will create like a Wallet Guard security system for the virtual parcel itself. I feel that if we can attack the exploit attacker before it reaches to the main source, which is our wallet, stopping it from before it even enters the back end or back stages of the data and information, I think creating a forefront is actually sort of a good idea. And I just wanted to figure out how possible that can be. Also, maybe making something where we can attach that to NFTs as a two-step verification, using Wallet Guard or some sort of other brand that's interested in doing something like that. Maybe even one of the community members creating something like that. I thought that would be pretty cool to see. And last thing, for those that actually are aware of these extensions and how they operate, these are also a very easy way for attackers to come in and access your files. So keep in mind, any extensions you tap into your browsers, make sure that they're accredited. You can always run a virus scan through these actual extensions with Malwarebytes. So try to obtain that first before anything. I mean, even if you're going to buy an NFT, you can actually scan the NFT website URL and it will tell you if there's a malicious coding inside the actual back end of the script of the actual website. So keep that in mind. Malwarebytes is super popping. It saved my life so many times. It's actually really cleared out my computer firsthand. I've experienced it. Again, I'm not here as a paid advertiser or anything. I'm just spreading awareness to you guys. You guys heard this many of times, but I felt that maybe giving you guys a personal experience and one of my experiences using that, how that's changed my experience in the metaverse. But again, I did say last, but I got one more thing that came to my mind real quick that I do want to share with you guys. So keep in mind also smart wearables, everybody. It is a coded wearable. I do know it goes through curation and they do see what's the code makeup. But again, keep in mind there is an opening connection when you're using the web browser version because of HTTPS and that server connection. It allows an open connection for outsiders to come in. I recommend you guys going into your computers, going into your actual intellectual settings of your computer and going to where it says security. There's a setting there that allows a third-party installation. Try to keep that off. I've been taught this from my instructors, my teachers in school, from when it comes to software development. They've always pushed that into my brain to turn that setting off because that's the number one setting that actually allows these malicious files to be injected into your actual computer. It comes with a built-in firewall from the fabric without any firewall software. So just keep that in mind. Hit your settings buttons. Don't forget to toggle that off. And yeah, shout out to Michael. Michael, keep doing what you're doing, brother. Spreading that awareness. Canessa, Sinful. These spaces are amazing. I can't really stress the fact how much you guys come and bring us so much alpha, bringing us together. Rustan, my brother. I know these are hard times. It must have happened right at the end of the year. We here experiencing this with you. You know, anything that happens to each and any one of us here, it impacts all of us as one. We all feel it together, brother. So keep in mind, anything you need, we are all just a call, text, or just a tweet away. Big love, Rustan. Big love, homie. Keep your head up. Jared, you too, my brother. Appreciate those kind words that you mentioned last time on the space. That actually touched me and motivated me to push a lot more, create a lot more. Sometimes you just need certain people just to give a pat in the back, and coming from certain individuals, it feels a lot better sometimes. So, Jared, thank you again for that comment a couple of weeks ago. It's been embedded in my head. And God bless all of you guys. I can rant as much as I can talk. You guys know me. Shout out to me, Cowboy, and all of you guys. I'm gonna play the wall like graffiti. Switch down to the listeners. Happy holidays to all of you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. Keep creating, guys. Let's be great. Let's be us. Let's be Decentraland, guys. Love you guys.
Thank you, Bio. Looks like, so I'm having a hard time with requests coming up. Some of them were working, some of them weren't. I think we are going to try to keep this space. I know 3 hours doesn't seem short, but yeah, some people are saying in chat, like, there's some Christmas shopping, Christmas present wrapping to be done. So I know I personally kind of have to keep this on a time limit today. So we will probably get to wrapping this up pretty soon. However, like at the same time, yeah, there's nothing more important than this to be talking about, honestly. So let's see. I know on Knower, you finally got up. I've got Zolid with their hand up, and then on Knower. Zolid, you've got the floor.
Thanks a lot. Hi, everyone. Very nice to DCL everyone here. Yeah, in order to bring some more elements related to that security topic, I try to always link it with the privacy one. I mean, it's so much easier for any attacker to get information and on the basis of that to get the information about the assets we own and so on, if we're not really privacy protecting ourselves. And on that field, I would mention a couple of elements that could be of use for some of us. The first one, maybe the basic one, is to use an open software-based operating system, like a BSD one, OpenBSD, FreeBSD, or Linux. And I know that in Decentraland, it hasn't been so so attractive. I've seen the fact that I would probably not be able to access Decentraland anymore if the browser access is shut down. We talked about it a couple of spaces ago, but it's all usually is a quite good, nice protection. Another one is to inside our first the choice of the wallet. I don't want to shield any project in particular, but there are so many community-based Ethereum and Polygon wallets now, like at least 10 of them, that MetaMask, I've heard of quite a bunch of people having lost their assets through MetaMask, and it seems they're not taking that so much into account. I mean, the people behind MetaMask. So one of them that is a desktop wallet, and it makes a difference too, is Frame. If you have the opportunity, it's an open source one with a quite active community. They have a Discord server too. And also when we use an RPC call, which is always the case when we manage our assets, try to not use the standard one like the Infura one. Infura has now, and Consensus, they have an anti-privacy policy. It's sad to say that, but it's the case. They collect as much data as Facebook or Instagram on ourselves. And there are a couple of projects like the Automata Network. If you look for Automata Network, they allow you to choose a one RPC network or node through which they occult quite a lot of data about what we do online through any EVM compatible wallet, for instance. So these are some elements that could be of use. Thanks a lot to everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for that valuable feedback as well. Michael, your hand is up, and then Anor. Oh no, am I rugging? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Maybe
Okay.
Michael went away for a second. Are you able to hear me? Am I rugging now?
No, you're good, Anor. Why don't you
Okay.
take it, and maybe Michael can.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. I have to hop off in a little bit here, so I won't be too long. But yeah, I was just thinking of another thing like to think about is, I guess let's try to use as many, of the normal, as Michael K was saying, like stick with as many of the normal familiar channels that we can, but also try to lean into as much kind of trustless methods of doing things. Not that we don't trust each other. It's that. So let me give you something I think of often from this perspective of a developer. So like me and Rustan are constantly sharing files back and forth. This is like, something I do with a lot of different people. They send me their SDK project and I install a virtual LAN manager for them. And then like sometimes I'll just send back a zip file. And now I'm thinking like, I need to set a standard of like doing this in a way that's more that doesn't require so much trust from them, because when Rustan got hacked, the first thing I thought was like, oh no, I hope he doesn't think it was me, because I'm always sending him things, or like, I don't know how long ago it was that I sent him an SDK file, but I was kind of relieved to hear that it was something that was fairly obvious that triggered it, because personally, when this happened to me, I didn't really understand what had happened until the same thing happened to KJ months later, and I actually ruined a friendship with a developer I was really close with, because we trusted each other to the point where they would have just had the most easy access to the private key that I got hacked. So like, I now worry about like losing connections and friendships by that like loss of trust in each other. So I guess I'm trying to find ways for us to, I guess, use ways, kind of do things in a more trustless, like open source way, I guess. So if anybody, don't be offended, I guess, if I start sending files via GitHub and asking like, is it okay if I kind of open source this on my repository? So, not to like leak people's work out to the community or anything if they don't want that, but more so it's like, hey, if you want to get somebody else that you trust to take a look at this and make sure I'm not sending you something malicious, either like knowingly or unknowingly, because like I know that I wouldn't send something to people, but I also would tell people you shouldn't trust what I say, like, because you just really can't trust it. It feels like you can't trust anybody sometimes um, in this environment. And who's to say somebody within the community isn't playing like a long game, trying to gain people's trust and then kind of sneaking something in the back door. I mean, this is like something I personally worry about, like not only the short term social engineering, but I guess a longer term social engineering kind of thing that could be happening. And I don't know, maybe this is just a weird insecurity of mine, but I guess we need to find ways of doing things where we don't need to put so much trust in each other, so that we can maintain that trust in each other, as weird of a paradox as that is.
I don't think
Man,
that's weird at all. Nor, I think you're absolutely spot on. I think we don't do that enough.
yeah, because like, man, when you brought up that project before, it's funny because I was thinking of that too. It's like so many of these things start out as legit sounding, like amazing, like wow, that sounds cool, I'd like to be part of that type of deals, and then it's like it's legit until it's not, right? You get a totally legit seeming interview scheduled and set up, and then all of a sudden, like you said, the moment you're not thinking, the moment you're feeling rushed and everything else seems legit and you're just not thinking, that's when the exploit happens. And like that's part of what like an expert social engineer would do. They think through all this stuff, and that's why I said it was well planned, um, and fairly sophisticated. Because, like, yeah, nowadays it's easy to generate up some interview questions off of with ChatGPT based on a prompt, but like that just makes it even harder for these scams to seem more and more legit, and it scares the shit out of me, man. And like, we keep saying this is really something we need to fix, so that so that people aren't scared away from being part of this. And like, I'm afraid of not just scaring other people away, but scaring away people that I know and love and trust in this community, like, because I'm working so closely with people and sending files back and forth and trying to help them in a legitimate way. And then something might sneak in and they think like, oh, that must have been, they connect the wrong dots and think like, oh, that developer just sent me a file, and maybe they were social engineering me, trying to say like, oh, I'll help you with your SDK scene, but like, oh no, it was really them. And I don't know, this is just like, I don't, it's so hard to navigate. Like, how do we expect anybody to do this? It's almost like there's a reason so much shit got centralized. Like, we all have to be security engineers and like financial or security experts and like financial experts and social psychology experts just to like survive and keep our assets intact. It's really honestly kind of scary.
If I
So
Well,
sorry, guys.
to think about like, oh, go ahead.
That's all I had.
I just wanted to say I'm on my phone had died before when Zolid was talking, and I'm on desktop. I can't raise my hand. Sorry about that. But to some of Unknower's points, you know, they're not preparing us for this to begin with. What they're doing, they're not teaching in school about how to secure your data, about the importance of encryption and device security. They're not even teaching us about investments, mutual funds, taxes, debt management. You know, none of this is taught to begin with, which is why when we're all thrown into the wild, it seems so hard. It's like, how are we ever going to figure this out? And I think that has to change from the education to begin with, especially in school right out of the gate. But you know, this is a scenario where, like I said before, I'm happy that mass onboarding didn't happen quickly, because it kind of gives us the time to build out these like educational layers and say, hey, like this is the right resource when you come into Web3. Because as you all know, everybody up here on stage, we all shot in the dark when we came into Web3. No one knew what to do. We were all blind signing signatures, literally dodging bullets. Security didn't even exist. Scammers weren't as rampant. So yeah, definitely a lot of great points. Unknower. It's like, you know, when I was in Web 2, I had my IT company, which I exited. But a good example would be, you know, we go to someone's house to fix an issue with their laptop, and then they would call later on and say, hey, my thermostats aren't working. What did you do? It's like, one has nothing to do with the other, sir. They're literally completely separate devices, and we didn't even touch one. They just assume that whatever happened after the fact is your fault. And this is human nature, unfortunately. Just like it's human nature to not care about something until it actually happens to you. And this is why it's so important to talk about these things. So yeah, one last point that I want to make, and this is what Zolid briefly mentioned. Just make sure that if you are using Malwarebytes, you're using the premium version. The free version, all it does is it lets you run manual scans. That's it. The premium version automatically scans for you, has proactive detection. It's making sure there are no bad services or objects in your RAM that as you're using your machine. So there's a massive difference, and I think it's really worth it for that $30. I think it's either $30 or $40 per device per year. It's definitely worth that $30 or $40 in order to save thousands in assets, and also know that if you're compromised or not. I mean, just knowing you have some layer of security, you'll feel a lot better.
Thank you, Michael. I was a high school teacher, and I used to try to talk crypto and Web3 with the tech teacher that did all sorts of, you know, personal finance classes. And he always brought me back to the fact that real estate is the best investment, because he didn't understand a thing about crypto or blockchain or Web3. And so, I mean, he was to the point he would avoid my eyes, like walking down the hall until I retired from teaching, when, you know.
That's so
but you know, you brought up something, and it's really, I think about, like, how can we expect our technology to change, our digital currency to change, without changing us, our personalities, our habits. Like, I think we do have to change. And I think, I know what you said too. Like, I had one of the top developers in the space, kind of, you know, we were friends, we got to know each other better, and then one day he's like, hey, I need you to check out this beautiful wedding dress in this like mock world that I'm making. Can you see if you can try it on, because you love fashion, know each other, blah. I tried, and I'm like, it was a DCL node, and I couldn't get it to work, and some shit popped up. And I was like, you know, my alarm bells started going off. And so I was like, hey, like, I can't get to it. Like, what's up? And he like laughed at me. He was like, haha, first time running a server node. And so, like, in my mind, now I can't do it. And then he's like belittling me to make me feel like I should know this, like it's noob stuff. And I was like, yeah, you know, I can't. I didn't click it. And, you know, oddly enough, we talked less after that. So I to this day, I don't know. But it kind of hurt the friendship, you know, like, because he was leaning on me. He kind of needed help quick. Like, hey, can you just test this out for me quick? And so I don't know, you know, like, but so maybe I lose friends or lose relationships. I think that needs to become like, we have to be comfortable with that. We have to sit in that and accept it and be comfortable with, like, even Michael, I love what you're bringing in. $30 a month sounds great. Like, first thing, I want to jump on it. I want to go with it, but I don't know you. I mean, you got the cool credentials, but I don't know you. So I got to do some research before I even begin to continue to endorse that, or even maybe continue, you know, like I'm sure others know you, but Twitter, honestly, is another really dangerous spot, because when we follow people, we don't know who we're following. We don't know if we're following scammers. And, you know, it's real easy to pretend like you're somebody else, and somebody new coming in the space. They don't know if this guy's legit or not, but they look and, hey, Canessa's following him, Sinful's following him, Jared's following him, Rustan's following him, you know, One Exist is following him, Make is following him. He's probably okay. And I think that we also have to look at who we're following to make sure that we're not, you know, like inadvertently, passively giving validity to more scammers. So I that's my 2 cents. So if I'm mean, I really don't want to be mean. If I don't get back to your like DM offering me a bunch of cool stuff, I'm sorry. Like, there was a cool giveaway I wanted to sign up for this weekend for a hopper, and but then I had to like connect something. I was like, oh, bummer. Like, because honestly, no free hopper is worth my fucking assets. So yeah, I think we just need to be okay with being a little less friendly, or not friendly, but just like make that climate that we're
a
not
friend
clicking
would
on
want
links.
you to be safe first.
Yeah, like, don't send your friend links, you know, tell them, hey, if you look this up on this site or blah blah blah. But like, I mean, we're kind of normalizing sharing links, even having links in the DCL chat. We're normalizing that I'm going to share a link and you're going to click on it. And that's dangerous.
Well, and that
the point of the internet.
So Make said something earlier, and you said it again. And another thing you said, just a couple more tips that I want to give people of things that I do. First, since you mentioned the followers, when I come across somebody that I am cautious about, and if I do find something that is a huge red flag, or in some way verify that it is a scam, and I see that so and so is following them, and so and I've done this, I actually tweet out to them specifically and say, hey, this is what I found. I see you're following them. It's up to you, but my recommendation is to block. So that's another way as us as a community can help each other out. Recently, I had somebody. Sometimes I will goad some of these people. I know other people do it too, just to, get a feel for what they're trying to do, looking to do. But I did have someone. He sent me a file. I don't recommend exactly downloading the files. I did not activate the file, however, but what I did first is, and I can't, somebody asked, do I have a specific one that I know that I use all the time? No, I use several, because and what it is to check a website. Just do a Google search on checking a website for security issues or validation. Google does have one if you want one specific one, but the reason why I do multiple is because I have heard that sometimes some of these that do check the websites are part of the whole thing. So I do probably at least 5 of them, and I actually have them check the website for certain things. So I recommend doing that in some cases. And then with the file that I did download, there was a website where it scanned the file for me, and it found a flag. So I mentioned that in a tweet, and unfortunately it was too late, but it did bring to light to someone that they knew the same person, and unfortunately, they were hit, I guess, but they did. It did alert them at least. So you can check, you can validate the websites and links that you're going to. You can validate and check files all before downloading them. I highly recommend doing that.
Yeah, if I could.
Sorry, Make. You had your hand up. Go ahead.
No,
put
please,
my hand up.
please,
I don't even
please.
dare.
Yeah, Michael, go
Let's go.
ahead. I know you can't put your hand up, and you were going to say something.
Oh, no, all good. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry to like mess it up with the hands. I don't know what the desktop version of Twitter is thinking. Really quickly, to what One Existence is saying, there are tons of free tools, like he said. One of them is virustotal.com. So that one actually lets you upload or link to a file and does a virus scan through the browser for you, so you don't actually have to interact or open it up yourself. So VirusTotal is a good one. Another good one is BrowserLing. BrowserLing lets you access a website inside of a frame of BrowserLing, so that if there is something malicious or it is what it's claiming to be and it's not, you can actually preview it without actually entering it. And the third tool that I highly recommend checking out is Pen Tester, Pentester, pentester.com. You don't have to install anything. You don't have to make an account. It's completely free. What you do is you put in your email address, and what it does is it does a dark web scan on all of your leaked credentials and data that's out there on the dark web. So you might see your own phone numbers, passwords that you're currently using, your social security info. This is important to take a look at what's leaked about you on the dark web so you could mitigate it. For example, if you see a password that you're using right now, you should change that password ASAP. So all of these tools that I just described, we also have in the Wallet Guard Academy. And again, free. You don't have to pay for anything. It's not token gated. You just jump into the academy and all those links are there. We teach you how to set up your devices and stuff. So definitely great points. These tools are completely free. They're available, and we should just take a second before we click on the link or open a file to just double check it so that we don't rug ourselves.
So I gotta hop off. So I'll just real quickly say, like, I always when I'm driving, I always say like predictable is polite, which means like, if you're doing something that someone else can't predict, even if you're trying to be nice, that's not always polite because confusion leads to accidents. So like, I guess we can adapt this in a certain way and maybe say like, paranoid is not impolite. Maybe even to go as far as like a little bit of paranoia is polite, and make sure we don't take offense. And well, at least I'll speak for myself. I want to make sure that everyone in the community feels free to like question me when they feel like like if you ever feel like I'm rushing you through something, get me on a call. Make sure it's me first, and like extend that to everybody. Just make because people's personal accounts can get compromised too, and we all do the best we can to avoid that. But like, we shouldn't be. We should kind of develop a culture of like where it's okay to like kind of question somebody if maybe they're not using the best security practices, or they're doing something in a way that could compromise you. Like, it's not. We shouldn't consider it impolite to be a little bit paranoid, I guess, in that respect, and kind of question that sort of thing. So, yeah, I guess, at least I'll keep speaking for myself. If anybody's working with me, feel free to like get me on a phone call, ask me to go through the code that I changed in your project if that's what we're doing. I'm never going to send you a node modules folder. If any developers know what that is, like, you should be installing things directly from npm where they can be verified. I'm going to try my best to put code up on GitHub where everyone can go look at it and get it verified, and just, yeah, like, anything that I'm doing that makes anybody in the community feel uncomfortable as a developer, I want to know so I can help us all get better at this. So that's all I have for today. I got to run, but man, it is a silver lining every time something like this happens, because like we all learn a little bit from it, and anybody who has the strength and courage to actually come forward, even though it's like it's a little bit embarrassing when it happens to any of us, because it like kind of hurts your pride a little bit. Like, man, I thought I was like up on my shit enough to avoid this. But like I said, it can really happen to any of us, and like Canessa said, it just takes somebody catching you off guard for 1 second. So I'm really glad that we had Michael K on today to talk about all the tools that we can use to like be that backstop when the inevitable situation of us being flawed humans arises. And I'm personally glad to have heard about a lot of this stuff, because I should probably be implementing it as well. So great chat today, guys. That's all I have for today, but I'm gonna listen in on the rest of the space when I get back from this appointment. And I really appreciate everybody. And sorry, Make, for cutting you off. I know you had your hand up for a while.
I love this community. Like, I'm so bullish that we can step aside like all the petty stuff and we can work on how do we get better. I mean, tough conversations inspire innovation, and this is a tough one. One of our favorites got tapped, and it happened to a bunch of us. I'm really, really grateful for it, and I'm just a few things. One, man, the social engineering thing is so real. Like, when I was in Art Basel this week, I was, golfing with people. And then somebody in one of my communities just hit me up and was like, oh man, Make, I see you're there. We're starting this whole new project around golf. And it was like all this BS. And it just took a smell test to realize the guy had already been kicked out of the chat. He was already coming at people with different things, and he was really sneaky. And honestly, I love golf and I wanted to be a part of it, and there was just like one little inkling, and I already got burned this year pretty good. Let's just remember, especially with people we're not in constant contact with, that there are a lot of sneaky people out there. Patience in crypto is 99% of the law, and it still doesn't get us through the goat every time. I also just wanted to point out there's a few people in the room who may not see us all the time that I just wanted to welcome, because we've been going on about security. One is Liv, DJ Alive, absolute beautiful person down there. She's done a couple events. She was with Mew and myself for the Make a Music Festival. I can safely say she is absolutely wonderful, and looking forward to joining more Decentraland things. Also, we have Prism down there, who is a co-host with me and Sinful, or right now is stepped down to work harder on his project, but is extremely cares about security quite a bit, always doing tips and everything. So Prism, welcome. We really appreciate all the efforts that you consistently do to try and help everybody get through stuff. Yeah, and as I descend on airplanes and get ready for these kids, I just want to say, have the safest, happiest holidays you can. Just remember, I'm sure we've talked about all this stuff. The holidays are an especially emotional and sensitive time for a lot of people, whether they've gone through stuff or their family's gone through stuff, loneliness. Let's all remember that we are together. We are aware that everybody's walking their own path, and that we're stronger together. So let's use all these things to rally around the people around us. Stay grateful, stay vigilant, and stay beautiful. I appreciate the absolute heck out of you guys. Let's build the future together. Biggest love.
Also, real quick too, if you put it out there that this has happened to you in the spaces, that's when the worst of the worst, in my opinion, come out as well. I'm gonna go only so far, Michael. And sorry, I'm not able to hear you speak anymore, but I've seen you in enough spaces. I'm a bit familiar with you. I know many people I know, but in most cases, when you get hit, that's when the ones who just want to clean you out even more surface, and they try to send you to these people. Oh, they'll help you. They can get you your stuff back. No, most likely they cannot. So please don't fall for that. Fortunately, I don't think I've come across anyone I know of that has been hit twice. Oh my God. And because this type of thing hits harder to me, in my opinion, than it would if my bank account was hit. because there's your wallet has. I mean, it's a whole different thing, and it feels so much more personal, I guess, in my opinion. So.
Well, my bank account just has money. There's I can do a lot with money, but it is not my personality. Whereas my crypto assets are my beast, my donut, my heart-shaped glasses, my vest, my puffer. There's my names, my wearables. There's so much more here that defines, who our digital persona is than anywhere else. And I think, like you were saying, I've noticed people in chat talking about what kind of like ledger, that they use, or that their friend gave them one. I think it's probably a good idea too when we're talking in these spaces. Like one person once was like, "Oh, I need to get my stuff on a ledger." Don't say that. Don't say I need to do this on a ledger. Don't say ledger. Don't say Trezor. Like, just, I think everybody here uses a ledger or a Trezor or something. Everybody uses it. Let's just roll with that assumption that everybody is. And if you need to give more details than that, like let's just please don't say on Twitter, I don't have my assets on a cold wallet, because these spaces are recorded. If I was smart, if I was evil, I would just go through and I would listen to that recording from July of 2023 and find out that my good friend blank doesn't have their assets on a wallet. Like, please don't. You can use, like, talk about my friend has this and they're wondering about this, or like, please just don't get into specifics. Don't, like, you guys don't know what I'm doing with my assets. I've never told you. I never will. I don't tell you how many wallets I have. I don't tell you if they're cold or hot. I've told you to use a fireplace safe for your seed phrases. But please don't give that much personal information. This space is so public. It's recorded. If I was smart and evil, I'd go back and I'd have all that information. And I'm not evil. I'm not smart. But other people are. And I'm afraid sometimes, actually, that this space gives people the opportunity to share too much about themselves. That even just having this platform where people are sharing their story of security could be detrimental. And that usually comes up in these kind of talks. So, I mean, it's wonderful to share stories. Just keep it surface level. We all use cold wallets. We all store our seed phrases in a fireproof safe. And then we have a backup copy at our mom and dad's house in a fireproof safe, even though they don't know what the heck that little envelope that I gave them means. Like, protect yourself. And I just
I have a question for the wallet guard guy, because there's this rainbow wallet airdrop points bullshit thing I saw, and someone was like, "Jared, put your seed phrase in there and sign up for that." If I were to do that, is that as dumb as it sounds? Because like, so two people that I trust to be security-minded, intelligent, entered their, made a rainbow wallet. As I understand it, I would literally just have to put my MetaMask seed phrase in there.
You're kidding, right?
I'm not kidding. I'm telling you that's what was explained to me. I didn't do it
because
it sounded stupid.
So here's the thing.
But the correct answer is don't do that,
wallet.
right?
I did not hear about it the way you did, but I did a rainbow wallet.
One existence. Don't talk. Stop talking one existence. For the love of God, he was going to answer me. Sir, please continue.
Okay, your seed phrase should be never touching anything digital, right? So when you're given your seed phrase, you write it down and you never put it anywhere digital, okay? So a cold storage like a ledger or a Trezor, that's telling you your seed phrase on a device that's offline. It's even more secure than getting a new seed phrase in your MetaMask on your computer because it's being generated digitally.
So you don't endorse signing up for a rainbow wallet with my existing wallet?
I don't think what they were dealing with was. You're talking about installing Rainbow Wallet and then putting in your seed phrase so you can now use Rainbow Wallet?
I couldn't hear what he said, but
yes,
did he say it's bad?
Yeah, he said don't do it.
No, wait, hold on, wait, hold on, 1 second. So Rainbow Wallet, right? Or any wallet, Phantom, MetaMask, whatever, you have to type in your seed phrase in order to use it, okay? But if you have that seed phrase from cold storage, if it's like a Ledger or Trezor or any sort of cold storage, a Clavi, whatever the case is, you never type in the seed phrase. What you do is you use their Connect app, like Ledger Live, for example, to interface with MetaMask. You never type your seed phrase into your software wallet that you've been provided from a hardware wallet. Otherwise, it renders your investment useless on a hardware wallet. But
if you just had a run-of-the-mill regular wallet, that'd be fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, you should trust the wallet provider. You're putting a level into trust into any piece of software that you use, that they're not going to misuse that information, or that you're actually on the right link or installing the right package. So just make sure you trust it before you interface with it. Obviously, if you're going to use a different wallet provider, you have to put your seed phrase in. A lot of people think that their assets are inside of their wallet, like inside of MetaMask. It's not. It's on the blockchain. And MetaMask is just a tool that's being used to look at the blockchain and present to you the tokens, for example, that are in your wallet. So everything's on the blockchain, and all these wallet providers are able to build interfaces to have you look at your info inside of their wallet, right?
Good news, One Existence, he said you're fine. One Existence was having a panic attack who sounded like, because he thinks he did that. But he can't hear you, so he just heard. But anyway, okay, cool. So Rainbow Wallet is probably fine, but if you're using a Trezor or something, don't do that.
If you're using a Trezor or a Ledger, you have to use their Connect app in order to interface with the wallet. You shouldn't be putting in the seed phrase from your Ledger or Trezor or any hardware wallet inside of a software wallet. The seed phrase should never touch anything digital.
Because that renders it moot, because that's how the hacker will eventually get it. Got it? Makes sense. None of you will ever find the lunchbox I keep taped underneath my desk.
I need an anger emoji for that one.
You'll never find my ledger that's duct taped to my gooch.
Well, here's the brilliant place. I have a ledger I got once that I never set up, that I sit right next to a place that, as if you just took the thing filled with paper, would be way worse. So I feel like, I've got the criminals led astray.
Hey,
you'll never find my Post-it note.
Quiet, you guys. Gosh, you guys are horrible.
Now you just need Father Finn or Nikki Fuego to give you my address, and you are this close to having my 350 in XDG.
No, I'm going to stop you right there. That's horrible. Hey, I gotta run off soon. I don't know if you guys want to keep talking, but TikTok. Hopefully, everybody has their Christmas shopping done, because you're now, I don't know, 35 hours away from it.
Yeah, it would be a good time to.
Yeah,
would be a good time to start winding down.
Like, shoot, it's Christmas. I haven't started shopping, so sorry. This is your reminder. Scott, welcome.
You know what? You guys are winding down. We can continue this on further. I was just going to give some more deep in the weeds information about what a seed phrase actually is, but we can save that until next time. So once again, thank you, Kanessa and Sinful, for hosting this space. Thank you, thank you, Michael K, for coming up and offering your knowledge. Thank everybody else for coming up and speaking.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I mean, Michael, just listening to you talk, it's like this is the tip of the iceberg. I feel like, I don't know, I was talking with Scott in the back channels, like, hey, we need to talk to Michael more. So maybe we can set some more, I think this was, as these spaces always are, the conversation is spontaneous and the community guides what we talk about. And this one, unfortunately, it was the appropriate topic to talk about today, but maybe we could have a little bit more planned conversations. And you're right, it should be first and foremost as we're talking to people, and new users especially, because it's going to be hard to convince. I think anybody that got their family to buy Bitcoin around the Thanksgiving table in 2017 was it, or 2018, the next year, had a lot of explaining to do to their family. So we want to mitigate that and not have more of those difficult family decision or talks about like, hey, you told me about crypto, you didn't tell me about seed phrases and wallet cards. So we will talk more.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and appreciate you guys giving me the stage to speak about security here, and also to mention Wallet Guard. And it's been definitely a great session. I do also have to run, but yeah, definitely shoot me in the DMs. We'd love to do more wallet safety sessions. And if anyone ever has any questions about Wallet Guard or wallet safety, and no question is a dumb question, please, my DMs are open. I might take a little long to get back to you. Sometimes I wish I could pause time and respond to everybody as quickly as I could, but I promise I will jump back in and help you out as quickly as I can. So thanks again, everyone. And it's been awesome seeing a lot of the Decentraland fam here today.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for being here. I guess good time to just go around the speakers and get any final thoughts. Zalid, any final thoughts before we close?
Well, very happy to have taken part in this space, and eventually, like suggesting the fact that we could set up some workshops in other or through other platforms than X. It's feasible too. Even why not a security workshop from inside Decentraland in a specific place? So we could work on that. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you. AJ and I were talking about maybe Decentraland. Hopefully, maybe we could kind of glean some more information and then turn that into a digestible format for new users so that they can at least have, if we can't teach them everything, they have like the next step of where to go find information. So yeah, Zalid will hopefully get that set up.
That is a solid idea. Sorry, I had to say that. Michael K, you got the land, I have the server. You know, if you ever want to do anything in Decentraland, we out here, man. It's been really good, you know, speaking to you again. It's been like over a year since we had a chance to chat. Let's see. Jared, final thoughts?
Everyone sucks except for you guys. Unless you're a hacker scumbag, then you suck too. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, hacker scumbags, you suck.
That was like the best Christmas message ever. Can we put that on a card, like a Hallmark card? Like, everybody sucks except for you.
Oh my God. I mean, if you want to talk about like the Christmas tingles, like, you know, in your tummy, like that might actually do it. It's like everyone sucks except for you. Unless you're a hacker or a piece of shit, then you suck.
I actually think I read that on a Spencer's t-shirt verbatim. So, but otherwise,
we can Web3 it out. We can Web3 the term out. It'll be great. Trust me, Jared. You'll sell millions.
Put it on a Christmas sweater.
Joe Durer, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to wish everyone a lovely holiday. Literally, I want everyone to. I know it's going to be a busy holiday for some people, but still take time out for yourself and be present. And yeah, wishing everybody well for 2024.
Thank you. I mean, we definitely have at least one more space before the new year begins. Let's see. One Existence?
Real quick, say hello again to Joe. Good to see you. I haven't forgotten our little discussion on schizophrenia. Still looking into that some myself. So I'll be with you. But as I always say, be safe, be well, be you, and have a merry, wonderful Chris Quanacustis.
That's how you pronounce it, Chris.
Something like that, yes. Chris Quanacustis.
With oh my God, that's
it
like
gives you Christmas, Kwanzaa, winter solstice, and Hanukkah, all in one.
I thought I saw like Cowboy Tom type it out the other day, and I was like, you know, just like choking on the word. I was like, okay, I probably shouldn't speak it out loud. And speaking of Cowboy Tom, final thoughts, my friend? just know that Cowboy Tom loves you all. He's probably away from the computer, so much love, Cowboy Tom. Thank you for coming up and sharing thoughts and speaking with us. Oh, there he is. I'll pass it back to you in case you want to say something. If not, no worries.
You can do it, Tom. You can do it.
Oh, did you call on me? My bad, dude.
Yeah, any final thoughts? Anything you would like to leave the people before we close out?
I'm just happy holidays, man. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and just be safe out there, man. Just be safe. And Rouston, if you're still there, man, let us know when you got your shit together, and we can do another fundraiser. And I'm sure everyone here will pitch in to get that back and to fulfill your goal, man. So we here with you, bro. Don't give up. Never give up, man. You got people who are supporting you, people who care about you, and that's why it's also, I think, with the in real life events, it kind of solidifies your friendships on here, because then I met Bio and immediately we click. People like that, like you meet them in person and it just kind of like just kind of like closes the deal, seals the deal. Like, yeah, this is my real friend. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love the in real life events, man. So, but definitely, guys, let's stick together. And happy holidays, man. I appreciate all the love you give me too, man.
And on that Rustan thing, buy Rustan designed IRL Decentraland t-shirt. One of my plans was for a wearable creator fund from part of it, but I'll redirect some of that towards helping Rustan out.
And that's a physical, right? The physical shirt?
That is a physical t-shirt. It's at cryptolids.com. He's somebody who's has been in Decentraland, worked with Voxboards and Cyclopa. Is a young kid, young entrepreneur, doing great things in the space. But Rustan did the design. He took second place in my contest, but he offered it up for however I wanted to proceed with it. Which, like I said, some of the funds was for wearables. We'll get to that, but for now, under the circumstances, if you guys are buying one, it'll also help Rustan some.
Okay. And then maybe if anybody's hoping to buy from Rustan to support him, maybe we should find out first if we make purchases from Rustan's wallet, is that safe? I guess maybe just check with him first.
The funds from that would not go directly to him. They'd funnel through me, then to him. So I would definitely get a new one for that.
Yeah, it just prompted me. It just prompted me to think, like, if you're gonna buy from his wallet, let's just double check that he has access to those funds. So maybe don't buy anything until you talk to him, and make sure that you find the right way to buy.
Thank you. I think Michael K did share his extra. I'll pass it over to him. But if there's silence, I'll just shout out Dr. Drip.
Get Wallet Guard.
Oh,
get Wallet Guard. Let's go.
No, appreciate all you guys. We're actually also I don't know if you guys knew, but we did the Wallet Guard Nyan Cat drop. We paid for everybody's mints and paid for everybody's gas. And it also helped people onboard others into the space and also learn about security at the same time. We ran that for about a month. I think there was almost 98,000 that were minted, which is just amazing. It just was such a great campaign, and we're going to be doing that every other month. So definitely keep a lookout. We're doing it with different artists in the space, and we just want to help advocate for end user security and do it for the users. Also. In February, there is a show. It's called Killer Whales. It's like the Shark Tank, but for crypto. Wallet Guard is on the first season. I'm on the show representing Wallet Guard. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. Make sure you guys tune in for that. And let's protect crypto. Let's fucking go.
Bro, definitely we're gonna have to have you back on here closer to that event, because I'm seriously interested in watching what was it called again? Not Whale Watchers. Killer whales, like I'm a big fan of Shark Tank, so killer whales will be perfect content for me.
How would this like? Is it going to be on TV or through some streaming platform? How's it going to be viewed?
Yeah, they're gonna release all that info. I think let's take a look. 1 second, guys. I'll pin the trailer up to the top. I'm actually in the trailer.
Yeah, pin the trailer, and if you can, post it in the comments on the bottom so it could stay here after we close the space.
Yeah, for sure. I will get that done right now. But yeah, no, it's gonna be awesome. There's tons of different projects that are on the show, and it was in Hollywood that it was aired. It was shot, and it was just such a crazy experience to, go from just like not like really understanding NFTs 3 years ago to being a part of such like a great product that actually like works and like saves people. Like, I did IT. I had my own IT company for an 8-year time frame before I went into Web3 full time, and it was like the perfect transition. Going from Web2 cybersecurity to Web3 cybersecurity. So this has just been a dream, just being in the space, and all the stuff that happened with Decentraland. I honestly think that if I didn't do some more research on Mana and jump into Decentraland in the beginning of 2020, the first person I ran into was Zeta, and he took me to his land and he showed me, he was like, I got NFTs, I'm a photographer, and I was looking at it and I was like so confused. I like didn't understand it, and I'm standing in this building in Decentraland, and I just before this I hated NFTs because I didn't understand them. Being in IT and just not being able to wrap my head around what the point of an NFT was crazy. So now I'm in Decentraland, and I'm in this building, and this guy Zeta is telling me about NFTs, and then in walks in Peanut Butter, and I just saw his video talking about Decentraland like just the same day, and I was like, I just saw you on YouTube, and now you're like in this virtual space, and they taught me and showed me OpenSea and MetaMask, and I just went down the rabbit hole, and got my first deed in Decentraland, and started doing like events for different NFT projects like Apes 3D and Rebel Bots, and there was just so many projects. I think we did like 17 parties in total. Big shout out to Category 5. He DJ'd a lot of those parties. It was such a crazy time. One of the biggest events we did was with pay-per-view and DAZN. We built that virtual stadium for them for the Triple G and Canelo fight at the Metadome. So it was just like such a crazy journey, such a crazy experience to go from not understanding any of this to being able to buy one parcel and monetize to the point where there's 50 parcels and you're landing big deals and big projects. Crazy tons of people met along the way. Last Slice, Meta Truckers. There's just so many different communities, and just being able to just vibe and work and really build experiences and create your own business out of an NFT. Just an amazing journey, and I cannot wait to see what happens over the next few years as we continue all building and really trying to make this space safer. So that's my TED Talk. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Let's see. I'll pass it over to Kanessa for her final thoughts.
Oh, my final thoughts. Let's see, what were they? Well, I've got there's an event after this I'll talk about, but I guess just with the holidays, another year down. We made it. Take care of each other. Thank you so much for everybody that takes the time to be here. I know there's, a couple other places in the world you could be other than here, so we appreciate that you're here. Rustan, my heart, my homie, we got you. I don't know how, I don't know when, but we'll take care of you. Love you all so much. You are the reason that I keep coming back. I love this place. So on that note, the True Band Room has something right after this in like 10 minutes, or actually maybe like 4 minutes. So once Sin closes this space, I believe, Sin, is it also a Twitter space that they're broadcasting into True? Do you know?
I have no clue.
All right, let's I'm gonna click on this link here. Yeah.
No.
Hey, I don't know. Yeah, Shelly still might rug me. Sounds like it is a Twitter space, so you can listen here on Twitter, and then it's also going to be streamed in the band room. So if you're here on Twitter, we'll just jump over and support Crow, and then if you're in world, just hop on over to True Band Room, and I know they would appreciate it. So yeah, we will see you in a week. Come next week, maybe with the last Twitter space of the year. Why don't you your homework assignment, which will be graded. I'm a teacher, so I can't not teach. Homework for next week: bring a memory from 2023 that stands out to you, and let's just share some goodness, some things that we've built. Otherwise, be safe, be really safe, guys. Travel safe, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Kanessa. And yeah, I mean, everything Kanessa said. True Band Room, probably in like 5 minutes. Head on over there. I see also that the Nihilings are having a space. Big shout out to Cat5. I know Michael K just mentioned him. And Hedge seems to be DJing at the moment. So next week exactly, next Saturday, the 30th, we will be hosting another small shindig. We have Cat 5, USD Hedge from the Nihilings performing.
Category 5
We
Yacht
have
Club.
Yeah, you already know. We got him. We got him locked in and confirmed. We also have DJ Gucci performing for us as well. There may be a small Beyond the NFT episode in the middle of it, since Beyond the NFT is on Christmas this year, and I won't be able to host one. Sad face. And let's see, what else do we have? I believe Crow is also setting up to perform for us, and we have a few a Kid Called Beast performers getting ready as well. So yeah, I mean, next week should be cool. We'll host it right after this Twitter space. Hope to see you all there. And yeah, I mean, I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you for being here and listening to us this week. Really happy we, covered a little bit of security and how to be safer, navigate safer through the space. And yeah, I guess act natural and head on over to the True Band Room or to the Nio space. I would like for us to raid both of them and show some love to our community members, our friends. Take care, everyone, and yeah, see you back next week. Merry Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas. Which one of you farted? All right. Yeah, everyone here on at a True Band Room. Everyone here on Decentraland. Thank you for being here. Oh my God, look at this nice line of drippy individuals we have. Definitely, let's jump over to the True Band Room. Let's see, where is the True Band Room? Let's see, jump over to 177, 77. True Raid. We did it.
What? We have Vitalik in the house? I'll allow it. Oh, thank God. Yeah, no worries, DCL Chess. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate you, my friend. Yeah, just head on over to True. I guess I will jump over myself. I probably will end the stream just so I could chill in the back. Hello, True. Hello, Governor. And yeah, I guess it's a good time to end it. Let's see. Who can we raid?
Celebrate Christmas. Which one of you farted?
What's Johnny up to? Johnny Tiger's making a little music? Sure, let's raid our boy Johnny. I'll be back later for sure to stream a little more. Alrighty. Twitch is rated. I don't think there's much going on all the other platforms. No, I don't think so. Nope. Alrighty. I will close down. Much love.